Welcome to the Braille Drop Podcast. We got special guest Gabriel Horacio Iglesias Cruz in the house.
We got a lot to cover today, my friend.
We do got a lot to cover.
We do.
Gabe has no idea what's going on. He has no idea what questions are going to be asked of him.
I've been doing this a long time. I'm nervous as heck, I'll be honest.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know.
I know. Everybody's really nervous. The only person that wasn't nervous to do the podcast was Ricky.
Yeah, but that's Ricky. We got 10 years of history, a lot of stuff that I feel like old Braille people know.
Yeah.
But then we go way, way back, right?
Yeah, well, okay, I pretty much have been starting every podcast with, the reason I started this podcast was to learn more about the industry.
Yeah.
And then we try and figure out how we can get more people into skateboarding. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the guests, I have no idea about their life, and I really dig into, well, what about that? Or especially if they had any workings in the skateboard industry itself.
Sure.
But then I also interviewed my wife, which is very interesting because she's not in skateboarding at all. She's not even a skater. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I know everything about Gabriel Horacio Iglesias Cruz. But we'll just talk as though I don't, and we gotta tell the people some good stories.
Yeah, I think we got a few.
So tell me first, and this might be entering a territory that I don't know about.
Sure.
First, Gabe Cruz skateboard. How did Gabe Cruz first get interested in skateboarding at all?
All right, well, if I'm thinking back, I had two first skateboards. The first actual skateboard I had is like that phase of skating where you're young and you're not actually going to do anything with it at that point. And then the second one later was when I actually started like really skating. The first one, I think it was from my uncle. It was a shop deck from a Fremont skate shop called The Station.
Whoa.
It's not open anymore. I think it closed.
Shout out The Station with the shop deck.
Shout out them. That was my first one. He gave it to me as a complete. I think they were just standard Black Thunder trucks on there. Whatever. Can't remember the wheels at that time.
But a real legit board.
It was legit, yeah.
You didn't have a Veriflex. You didn't have a penny board. You didn't have a Walmart board.
Yeah, and I want to say I was maybe like 7 or 8 at this point. So.
And you asked for it, or he randomly?
He just gave it to me.
So was your uncle's a skater?
I guess. Yeah, I think he kind of went through a phase as well because he's 10 years older than me. So at that point, he would have been like 17, 18. Okay. So maybe kind of closing out that phase of his high school life, I guess.
Right.
So he gave me that, and then
brand new, complete.
Slightly used, but I don't think I did that much on it is the thing. Like I would ride it. I got the base of riding, which I think at like 7 or 8 is a lot further along than I think most people are at.
Yeah. So
when I started skating freshman year of high school, I think I was at a little bit higher of a curve than most others. So I was comfortable. I don't think I did an ollie or anything like that, but definitely just riding around, kick turns, stuff like that.
Okay.
Could definitely do it like 7 or 8.
7 or 8 years old.
I think that's how old I was.
7 or 8 years old, but that's high school is when you're like 15, right? 14, 15?
14, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 14, right. 4 years and graduated at 18, right.
Yeah.
Okay, but 7 or 8, that's way earlier than that.
It was early on, yeah.
Okay.
So there was a pretty big period of time from that moment to actually starting in high school, and that was in 2012 is when I was a freshman in high school.
So you started as a freshman?
That's when I started.
And why did you start?
The story actually is really, really cool.
Okay, here we go.
The story of me starting skating is because when we had to leave school, I mean, we had to go to the bus stop, but
there was a girl.
No, actually.
Yeah, right.
No, there actually wasn't.
There's always a girl.
There wasn't a girl, I swear. When I stopped skating in junior year, maybe for a little while.
Okay,
but when I started skating, I went to the bus stop after school, and all of my friends had boards.
Really?
All of them, yeah. I had a pretty decent group, like friend-sized group, and they all were skating after school to the bus stop, and I was just the one walking along behind everyone. They'd all be at the bus stop for 10 minutes, and then there's a basketball court right behind the bus stop, so they'd all just stop there and skate flat. And I was just there like 5-10 minutes later showing up, and then bus would get there, didn't get to skate. So I got frustrated because I was like, dude, all my friends are just dipping.
Yeah.
So I need to get a board.
Yeah.
So I had the station board, my very, very first one. But at that point, I was like, I don't think I want to do like street skating or trick skating or anything like that. More just ride around and keep up with them.
Yeah.
So I went to my mom and I was like, hey, I think I should get a skateboard. So she took me to Zoomies. Went to Zoomies.
Shout out Zoomies.
Yep.
A lot of people get their first board at Zoomies.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. We make these videos and people gets all controversy. We made one called "Is Zoomies a Skate Shop?" Every day I answer comments, and every day somebody's on there.
I feel like the real controversy is if you're like that stuck up about it, that you'd rather not skate than go buy a skateboard at Zoomies.
Yeah, no way. If Zoomies is your shop, then Zoomies is your shop.
Just go buy a board. But
Shout out
anyways,
Zoomies.
Yeah, we're getting off topic here.
And we are gonna do that. But go ahead, tell your story.
But we went to Zoomies. I got a Duster's Cruiser. It was red, like a kind of like camo red design.
A Duster's Cruiser?
Yeah.
What is that?
I'll see if I have the pic.
It's a cruiser board.
Yeah, it's a cruiser board, surfboard shape, and then the tail had like two little like fin things like that. That's kind of like the shape.
What?
Yeah.
So you started on a normal board, then you went to some crazy,
then I went to
wacky
cruiser, weird, like just to ride around.
Okay.
And then I got used to riding from school to bus stop.
Yeah.
And then I think it was just kind of a period of like maybe a few weeks or a month or so that I kind of was like, all right, well, I'm pretty good at riding this cruiser now. Let me see if I can actually do tricks, right?
On the cruiser.
On the cruiser, failed miserably because the tail was, like I said, like this.
Yeah.
And not meant to be popped. And then I would borrow their boards, which if I recall correctly, one of them had a board with cruiser wheels, like a regular popsicle deck with cruiser wheels.
Yeah.
And I think I would use that one. I could pop a little bit.
Okay.
And then that's when I learned how to ollie.
Whoa. Yeah. No tutorials. No YouTube.
No.
You just learned.
Yeah, just watching them.
Oh, so they could ollie.
Yeah, they could ollie
well
enough that I could kind of like get advice from them.
Right.
And they are the ones that were like, okay, yeah, do this. And then I figured it out. Actually, pretty quickly, I believe.
Dang.
Then it kind of turned into like, once you do your first ollie and you're like, oh, dude, like I'm in. Right?
Now I got to do every trick in the book.
Well, then it's like, shoot, I got to ollie up some curbs, ollie over some things.
Yeah.
So gosh, there's so many places that we would go. But basically the bus stop would take us to this place called Union Landing. And I don't live there anymore, so I can talk about it. But it's in Union City. And
shout out Union City.
Yep, the bus stop is right there. If you
want to see Gabe Cruz's house, go to Union City.
It's not far. I literally would skate from the bus stop.
Yeah.
And then we would skate there. So there's a mani pad that I've taken you to that you've done some tricks there.
Sick mani pad. Slightly downhill, just 2 parking lots. You don't really need much more.
No. And then there's like a behind Lowe's right there. There's just a big empty flat ground area.
Yeah.
And there's one downhill curb that you could ollie up. And then other than that, just a bunch of scrap wood, which is like the skater's best friend when you're just trying to ollie over stuff. So it was all just that journey from school to bus stop to home. And then, hey, we get off early on school on Wednesday. So like, hey, mom, I'm going to just skate with the homies for a little while, go to In-N-Out and eat. And then, we'd literally just skate for hours. So it was then that I learned, ollieing up curbs, 180s. And then it wasn't long after skating, I was introduced to Andy. And that's when everything was just like...
Andy Schrock.
Andy Schrock, yeah.
How? How did you get introduced to Andy Schrock?
It was my friend. He actually introduced me to Revive videos first, which was Revenge at the time, of course.
Yes.
I remember your first video when you got announced to the team. I was like, who's this guy from where I live?
Dang, San Francisco Bay Area represent.
But I was like, die hard, watching all the We Want Revenges, binge the playlist.
So what was it about that made it even interesting?
It's very hard to answer that now, being a part of it and being so far separate from it, right? Like, I can come up with this answer now and it sounds great, but it's really hard to go back to that exact time.
Yeah.
And also skating has evolved so much.
Right.
So...
And everything's changed so much.
Yeah, exactly. So my idea of skating now is so different, but also at the same time, like the core skate industry and like Thrasher video parts and whatever was going on, I was never in tune with that whatsoever. Like it was me skating home, skating with the homies, getting introduced to Revive, and that's literally all I knew.
Right.
So my whole upbringing is just like, it's so different, I'm sure, from a lot of people. But,
which is a super fascinating thing. To me, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, but what I really enjoyed about it is that it was just like fun.
Yeah.
And no offense to anyone involved, but when I watched them, I saw the tricks they were doing and I was like, dang, that was sick. But it wasn't like, like some kickflip, front crook, nollie flip out. It wasn't anything like too gnarly. It was like, hey, those guys are cool and they're kind of like just like me, a little older. I can do something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of homies having friends, which when you're in a group of friends learning how to skate, it's very easy to just be like, hey, I could just do this with my homies.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe that's meant to, I feel like that's skating.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny talking to some of these guys. Like, what was super interesting is talking to Carl Watson about like the very, very early days.
Yeah.
And he would be like, you had like your San Francisco crew and then your San Leandro crew. These are all like suburbs around the city.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because they were very separate. No internet.
Yeah.
You wouldn't really see them, but then they would like see them at a spot or whatever. And it was just kind of like you had your friends who you hung out with, everybody was getting along and they're having fun. And then you just kind of take that and put it on the internet.
Yes.
And then, it's kind of
how that meshes in that kind of setting is definitely.
Yeah. And then it's fascinating.
Yeah. I had something similar to that. My high school is huge. I think we have like 4,000 or 5,000 students,
which is double my entire town.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a pretty massive high school. The skate park is right across the street, which I guess we can get into as well a little bit.
This is a California dream. I just want to point out, like going to high school, leaving the high school every day. We're going to eat In-N-Out and then we're going to skate in this giant smooth parking lot with all my friends.
That's right.
This is the California dream.
My vibe was skate before school though.
Oh, yeah?
That was my vibe.
Early.
Yeah. But real quick, let me finish that thought and then we'll go into more. But
yeah.
So we were like obviously the freshman skaters.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We had like different classes of skaters depending on how old we were. So I remember freshman year we had like the juniors and then the seniors, and they were kind of mixed up together. We were more with like the younger freshmen and sophomores.
Whoa, junior skaters, senior skaters.
But they were all like substantially better.
Right.
So I'm looking at them like, damn, like you're supposed to skate this park like that? Like what the heck?
And when we're talking like substantially better, what are we talking about?
I mean,
like they can tray flip the hip, or they're like
you remember Union City, right?
Yes.
Like they're like
the worst skate park in the world.
Oh, it's the best. Come on.
Sucks.
Come on. But we're talking like 3 flip down the little 2 stair.
Okay.
They're like feebling the rail.
Yes.
Doing rail tricks.
Okay.
Tatos. You remember Tatos?
Yes.
He was part of that older group.
Oh, really?
He was, yes.
Okay. Sick.
He's like the Union City OG local,
Okay,
like from that group. So he was like one of the older guys.
Yeah.
There were a few of them that were like, I think I remember them being like a little judgy, kind of like, who's this new guy,
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like, whatever. Like, I don't care. And then, you grow up a little bit and you start skating, and then it's just like mutually like, oh, yeah, we're all just skating. It's fine.
Right. We're all skaters. We have boards. We're friends.
Yeah.
You got a skateboard. I'm your friend.
Yeah. And then Tatos and I, obviously, we became pretty close, and he started skating with us a little bit for a while. But yeah, it was very interesting. That's kind of like a little bit pre how crazy social media got, was kind of like seeing the skateboard clicks like in that sense in like a massive school setting.
Yes.
So yeah, just to add on to your point, I think that's kind of similar.
Okay, so then so you find Revive, and then you've learned about me, and then carry forward that story of your skateboard journey.
But okay, so gosh, I was in it. Like I really was like skating. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Skating every single day. I would wake up early, get dropped off at the bus stop at 7:15.
Yeah.
Get there and then skate for a good like 45 minutes to an hour before.
Like learning flat tricks all on your own.
I had like a warm up regimen because it would be cold.
Hit us with the
so
warm
I
up
would go.
regimen.
I don't remember exactly, but if I remember correctly, I would like roll around the park and warm up. I would like ollie down the stairs. There was like a little mini bowl up top without real coping, but kind of like you can stall it a little bit. So I'd do a few runs in there.
Whoa.
50-50.
Yeah.
The beautiful, not angle iron ledge, the round coping.
This trashiest ledges in the world.
This
they just suck.
You're a hater.
I love every skate park. I love all skateboarding. Union City Park sucks.
Oh my gosh.
No, I like a good ledge that has a real edge that you can lock into. And this what he's talking about is coping ledges.
Yeah, it's
like circle rail
yeah.
on a ledge.
On the outside. I thought I locked into it pretty good.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
You grow up skating there, you get it good at it. I did not grow up skating there.
Yeah. But then, I think it was more just like kind of flat ground, rolling around, ollies, 180s.
Yeah.
I wasn't at kickflips at that point.
Do you remember what about it was that got you so like, was it just like the thrill or excitement of like, I can learn something new, or?
I'm really competitive.
Oh, really?
I mean,
shocker. I had no idea.
Who thought?
Don't go bowling with Mr. Cruz.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you intend to lose.
So I was really competitive, and at first it was keeping up with my friends, and then I would like learn with them, and then it was like, oh, I want to learn more tricks.
Yeah.
And I want to I would see the older kids skating, and I'd be like, I'm trying to be better than them, right?
Yes.
Not like, I don't want to say that in like a negative way, but just kind of like
fine.
People, you inspire yourself in different ways, right?
Yes. That was something positive about the competition there, and you're pushing yourself to do something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like competition. It was just like, hey, like if I talk to you, can you teach me this trick?
Right.
And like, I'm working on it. I'm doing it this way. Is there something I can tweak? Anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, I was really competitive. So I just wanted to get good, and then I wanted to learn tricks. And then I think Sam Tabor, when he came on later, I saw him and I was like, oh, I got to learn every trick Sam Tabor does.
Why Sam Tabor specifically?
He reminded me of me a little bit, just older.
Yeah.
And just his bag of tricks, I saw him get added on, and I was like, I'm next.
Shout out Sam Tabor. No,
I love
think that's
Sam.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because you could see, it was like within your realm of understanding.
Yeah. Like you watch the Revive guys, and they're all like, they're just going crazy. And then they Revenge dies and Revive comes back, and then they have this whole team. And I'm just like, how do I get in there? Like, how is it possible? They're in Cincinnati. And then I saw Sam get added on, and I was like, I think it finally started to connect in my brain that it wasn't like, hey, they're not putting together like the world's greatest skate team. They're like wanting good people and good friends and just good energies that mesh with each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's when I didn't understand that. I was just like, go. I need to learn how to kickflip. But then once I actually kind of like thought about it, which was, I think, way later on. Yeah. I was like, oh, like that makes sense. I can do that, right? Yeah. So, and then pretty far after that, I was introduced to you. Yeah. And then I had a little bit of a different opinion on you at first. Oh yeah. I liked Revive a lot, and for a little bit of time, I was like not liking you at all for some reason.
We got a hater in the house.
I was a hater.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you? Was it my videos that I was making, or
I think it was the videos you were making.
Introduction to Revive.
The maybe like the tutorial. Maybe I was trying to be core. I don't even know, but let me tell you a story.
Yeah,
and then
I want
I'll see what you make
perspective.
of it.
Yeah,
I want to see what you make of it, and then maybe that'll help me divulge how I was feeling back then. But my friend who introduced me to Andy, I was learning flip tricks at that time. I was trying to learn kick flips. Yeah, I could not get them. Right. But my varial flips were flicking perfectly. So I was like, maybe let me just try this one trick, which I didn't know at that point was even a trick. I was like, this just looks sick. Yeah. And I was getting close to varials, and my friend was like, we should send this clip into Aaron Kyro for a skate sport. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not sending that in. And then I just did it anyways and landed my first varial flip.
We got a hater. And he's trying to push down the skate supports.
I think I was. I think it was more, I think it's, again, my competitive nature. Yes. Is like, if
I fully see that in you.
Yeah. Like if there's a part of me that's like, I can do this trick by myself and learn it, it's of more value to me than having to reach out. Yeah. And then I hit a very harsh reality check with tray flips. as you know. Dropped you. Just dropped me off the edge of skateboarding progression. Yeah. After I did varial flip, I did kick flip.
Varial flip first.
Yeah.
Then kick flip.
Then kick flip.
You're a monster.
And then my next one was backside flip.
And now you're on a campaign to keep varial flips alive.
That's right.
That's
you gotta stay with your roots. Yeah, I know. Everything is there for a reason. But, yes. Yeah, my varial, when I was trying kickflips, they would turn because I was turning my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at that time what that even meant or what
Yeah.
I was doing.
Yeah.
And then once I figured out, if I just keep my shoulders straight, I'll land a kickflip. And then, if I turn my shoulders a little more, backside flip, boom, first 3 flip tricks.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then
varial flip, kick flip, backside
and then
flip.
fakie flips.
Fakey flips.
I was turning them a little more, kind of doing like a half cab flip.
Oh, now it's
and then
now it makes sense.
And then I was like, okay, fakie flip. Oh, half cab flip, without really knowing what they were at the time.
Right.
So that's kind of like where they all came from.
Yeah.
And then I think it was kind of like those older videos when you're doing like clipped, like in San Francisco, the slow-mo montages. I was like not a fan of those.
Yeah.
But when like you started doing like the Today I Learned videos and the skate supports and the live skate supports, I was like, okay, this guy's doing sick things.
Well, it makes sense
I really
because
like him. Yeah.
I grew up as like a skate rat, like a hardcore skate rat, like the corest of the core.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're going to do the best trick that literally nobody has seen. And if the trick that you're doing is not something that somebody has never seen, it's not good enough.
Yes.
And you suck and you're trash. And that's like, maybe not even that was kind of how I viewed myself.
Yeah.
I guess is what I should say. Not necessarily how I viewed others, but I was so hard on myself.
Yeah.
I was like, my video part has to be the absolute best, has to have so many things that nobody's seen before. And so that kind of makes sense that you were not into the core scene. My videos are really kind of rather core.
Yes.
And then I'm going into more like open. And then I kind of have this.
And he visited here too, I think one time. And it was like a big tour where I think he had you in a lot of his videos. And, and We Want Revenge. And I think that was the one where you started at Shoreview. And then I think you were doing like the 5-0 pop out kick flips and maybe like even like a 5-0 tray flip or something like that in the video.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, all right. Yeah, I get it. I like it. I'm down.
Yeah, and then we're just hanging. We're just friends. And, you know, kind of the skating, growing up in Montana, the skating was always like, you just have your group of friends.
Yeah.
You just go skate. It's just fun. Yeah. But you wouldn't show, like, the idea of having that being videoed and go on the internet. When I grew up, there was no internet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I mean, that's not that there was no internet, but there was like, there was no YouTube. There was no like place you're putting all this stuff. So that as an idea was a foreign concept. You would just try and film your absolute best tricks. That's it.
Yeah.
It's even funny looking back footage. I always think, why didn't I just film myself talking? No footage of me talking.
Yeah.
But I got every banger trick that I ever did from 12 forward, I got it.
Yeah. But then when you're kind of, I feel like even like, I'm not even close to core, but then back in the day, like if you're learning a trick, why would you film yourself talking? Like it's just a foreign thing.
Yeah, I know.
And it wasn't until I met you that I even thought about that.
Yeah. And then I was like, today I learned. Like what, you know, and then it comes this concept of like, well, we're going to make videos on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to learn a trick, you may as well film it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, people can get value out of that.
Yes.
Because if I'm learning it, I'm going through something and I can kind of give them my experience of going through it.
Yes.
That's what I'm always trying to tell these guys.
Yeah.
They're like, they sometimes go, dang, we got to do the hardest tricks. And I'm like, no, you don't. You need to tell your experience of learning the trick you're learning. It doesn't have to be. In fact, it's probably better if it's not the hardest trick.
Yeah. I think that's the very interesting thing, especially with what we do, like comparing us to like a traditional pro, like Shane O'Neill, for example.
Shout out Shane O'Neill.
Like he is my favorite skateboarder.
Come to the Braille house, please.
Please. But like, I just feel like you, from a content standpoint on...
Yeah. Incredible, amazing, unbelievable
the most
skateboarding.
Unbelievable skateboarding tricks you'll ever see.
And almost like so good that it's hard to understand.
It's hard to relate to.
So there's got to be a bridge. We're trying to bridge the gap from non-skater into that world.
Exactly. Like it's important.
Yeah.
And
for somebody to understand, switch tray flip, nose blunt, half cab flip out.
Yeah,
there's a long road.
Like I don't even think people fully understand how difficult that trick is.
No.
Until you see us bridging the gap or anyone bridging the gap.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's cool. A lot of like, you know, like pro skaters and more like core skaters are starting to do the YouTube thing.
Yeah, which is so fascinating. We can talk about that for 5 hours.
We were ahead of the curve long before.
Well, we went through this whole period where it was like Aaron Kyro sucks at skateboarding. He's a YouTube skater. Hate him, hate him, hate
He's
him,
skating
hate him.
iPads.
And
What is
he
doing?
cannot. Why is he on YouTube? What a loser. And then some of those people that are saying that are now, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'm like,
I'm
all
seeing the
hate
weird
I
boards
got-
now on Instagram. I'm like, hey, didn't we have that idea like 5 years ago?
I did this 15 years ago, okay?
Oh my god.
And it's funny, but I do think it's kind of cool. It's kind of just like I don't know. I don't even think it's necessarily a point of acceptance. It's just like a point of
Evolution.
evolution,
Yeah.
how things are changing. Quite interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. And I love, like I said, I love all the skaters, all the different industry people, but there are some different various things that like would occur that I'd be like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
And I think it sucks sometimes because I think it hurts skateboarding.
Yeah. I feel like if just, I don't think I have no names in particular, but if anyone who ever had any kind of like opinion on Braille or what we're doing or anything like that, if they just had a 20-minute conversation with you, I feel like that's all just buried.
Please come on the podcast because we're gonna hash it out on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, you know,
Yeah.
because it's whatever. It's just like we're all skaters. We're all coming from the same place. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people don't even understand. And a lot of people see me now. I mean, I see these comments sometimes that they'll be like, oh my gosh, Aaron did a 5-0 kickflip out. I didn't even know he could skate.
yeah.
And I'm like, back in the day, 5-0 kickflip out was the warm-up trick, first try, every try. And I was doing 5-0 flip. No, like flip 5-0, flip out in a line
Yeah.
at a street spot. And, you know, like I was hardcore. I was like as literal hardcore as it
Yeah.
gets. What's up, everyone? Let me take a quick break here to tell you about Braille Army Plus, the membership platform designed by me to teach you how to ride a skateboard. Have you ever been wondering, man, if I just knew the correct technique to do this kickflip, I could get it? Or maybe you thought to yourself, if I just had Aaron Kyro to teach me how to ollie, I know I could land this. Well, I designed the Braille Army Plus membership for that thing specifically. You sign up on brailleskateboarding.com/army and you can get started messaging me on the members only Discord right away. You can send me a clip and ask me, hey Aaron, what am I doing wrong with this? And I will tell you the exact technique, the exact practice step. I'll even tell you exactly what you should be doing each and every day to improve in your skateboarding over a long period of time. If you're practicing the correct tricks in the correct way, I 100% guarantee that you will be progressing on your skateboard. So join the best group on the entire internet and join Braille Army Plus. brailleskateboarding.com/army. I'll see you in there shredding. Thanks for checking it out, and now back to the interview. Okay, so carry the story forward. So tray flips broke you.
Tray flips broke me. Gosh, there's so much in the story that I have to get to. I haven't even covered yet. Like I got to go back even before high school. Like in between the first board, 6th grade, I took a video class. I think it was just like very basic editing and like iMovie, and we had to make skits and stuff like that.
High school video editing class.
No, middle school, 6th grade.
Middle school.
Yeah. So just fresh out of elementary, 6th grade. It was like a core. What's the term I'm looking for? Just like an activities class that you have to fill your schedule up. Was like a video class that I had to do.
Okay. This is a California dream.
This is
In Montana, we don't even have video cameras, not to this day.
This is going to school in California for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that class, and I learned a decent bit about editing just on like iMovie.
Yeah.
Just like, speeding up the footage, like playing stuff in reverse.
Yeah.
Kind of doing little camera tricks to get little special effects and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of YouTube channels I actually watched in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade that I also kind of like say inspired my kind of like way into making videos and
film
doing special
YouTube
effects,
channels.
film
Yes.
YouTube channels. So
Yeah.
shout out Freddie Wong. I don't know
Shout
if you know
out Freddie
Freddie Wong, Corridor Digital, which I know you know them.
Yeah.
They were always doing like really cool skits with special effects and going into that. And then Smosh was making good skits.
I feel like they were ahead of their time also on just
dude,
like
they paved the
funny
way.
internet stuff.
Yes, they paved the way for just two friends getting together with no budget and just like whatever, filming with your computer or your iPhone and just making it work.
This is what we need to do more of.
Agreed.
We need to
actually.
do more skits.
Yeah.
We need to do a Grimace music video.
Oh,
I'm not even kidding.
I'm not signing off on that
I
one.
will make the funniest rap song where the beginning of it's like "Happy Birthday, Grimace," and it's all happy, and then like halfway through it turns into like a death metal song.
Forget the music video. Let's just film a full like Grimace horror film.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that might be a little more interesting to drop on his birthday next year.
Dude, I will drop it. I tried to get the song.
Oh man. But yeah, so I there were a few YouTubers I watched, and then that is what inspired me to start doing special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I got After Effects.
Okay,
You know
shout
how
out
it goes.
After Effects.
Didn't have Premiere. I just had iMovie on my computer at home.
Yeah.
And then After Effects, and I had to do all that learning by myself. So
Yeah.
it was just YouTube tutorials, which I'm lucky enough to have been in the YouTube tutorial area. Right.
So lucky.
Everything's so much easier.
I was
YouTube.
literally editing from a video camera plugged into a VCR.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
And then I would just record from the VCR. And then that's how we would edit the videos.
We're spoiled. See, if I grew up on that, I would be core too. But yeah, so I had After Effects, and I self-taught myself. Did some like special effects videos from 7th to 8th grade.
Yeah.
Had a pretty big hop from like 8th to 9th grade when I got better at special effects.
Yeah.
And then I did a course at Stanford. It wasn't like through Stanford University, but it was called Digital Media Academy.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think multimedia and visual effects.
Wow.
That was at Stanford. So that I learned a bunch of stuff in terms of like filmmaking and
Dang.
rule of thirds and all kind of like the technical like filmmaking stuff, and then editing and special effects on top of that. So that was like a good week-long course that I got to meet a bunch of, other people my age that were into it, and make a little short film, I think. And then, that's kind of like my background in making videos. So all through that time, I was just making, like videos and stuff I'd put on YouTube on like my very small channel, which wouldn't get any views.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just from watching like, just watching all those YouTubers that kind of got me hyped on it.
Yeah.
So I was a little comfortable beforehand, and I had some experience. So that's what I think was like, all right, this skate support is going to be seen. So let's get to the dreaded skate support. You like how I segued that? That was good.
So he's doing all the film classes, and then he's having troubles with his tray flips.
Yep, the tray flips, man. I'll say it again. They broke me. Couldn't figure out the full 360 spin, then couldn't figure out the kick flip, and then was landing primo. And was like, shoot, maybe I'll just do 3 shoves. And then couldn't figure that out. So that put a big halt in my skating. So that's when I finally was like, it's time to reach out to the guy.
Throw in the towel. Give Aaron Kyro skate support.
Metaphorical.
Sometimes even
Kyro
you need help.
Oh my gosh.
If anybody listening to this needs help in their skateboarding, you can send in a skate support.
You can.
BrailleSkateboarding.com.
We got them going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I sent in the skate sport, but I think just with my experience in terms of like seeing other people's skate supports, I knew whoever was selecting them behind the scenes was doing some special selection.
Yeah,
like
you gotta stand out.
Yeah, not in terms of like anything like good or bad, but you have to be memorable.
Yeah, well, it's funny with that. I'll say something about that too. Is we have this sign up page that says like film yourself, because I want to know who you are, where you're from, for no particular reason other than it's just interesting.
Yeah, just to see where you are.
Yeah, so some kid might go, my name is Henry. I'm 15 years old. I live in Argentina. These are the tricks that I know.
Yeah.
Ollie, frontside 180, backside 180, pop shove. And I'm having a hard time with my heel flips.
Yeah.
And the instructions are very explicit. Do all of the tricks and show them.
Yes.
And then do as many attempts, like do a few good attempts so I can see what you're running into and then I can give you an answer, the best answer I can. And I think that makes an interesting video, both for the viewer watching, both for me, the whole him. He also gets to like shout out where he's from. It's all like a cool thing.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, what we get is just one clip of the kid not landing the trick.
Yeah, and I edited these skate sports for a while, so
that's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, we go back, man. So yeah, it was also it was making something good that you could follow, and then following the instructions and actually making sure it's good
Yeah.
to use. So my idea was, I want to get this guy's, attention from the start. I want to be featured. Let me teleport in, which I guess is just like a whole funny build up to, all the times looking at retention graphs over the year and making better YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I teleported in like Harry Potter.
And how did you know how to do that? You learned in the special effects class.
That one I just learned from like YouTube tutorials.
Internet.
But I was a huge Harry Potter fan, so I was like, how can I make the coolest like remade fan film Harry Potter film? And I always was like,
So it was a Harry Potter teleportation.
Very
specifically done.
Yes, very specifically done.
Okay.
And then teleport away when I'm done with all that. But I had also watched so many skate sports. I knew whoever was editing them at the time, like I had an eye on how it was being edited. So I know you would always slow the footage down to like 10%, and it would be like the 24 FPS slowdown where it's like, and you would analyze every
One frame at a time.
Yeah,
slow
and you
motion.
would go so into detail. So I was like, dude, I need to do it just like this. So I literally edited it exactly like that.
Yeah.
I gave you a few of the my best attempts. I made sure to edit it like that. And then I think it was maybe like a month later, I think I finally got featured. And then I think it was called Tray Flip, like Diagnosis Skate Sport or something like that. And
we got to play that.
Yeah. And I remember every single day that a skate sport would go up, I would be looking to see if it were a tray flip one.
Whoa.
To see. And I was waiting for that tray flip one. And then one day that tray flip one came on. And then I saw it was me. And I was like, bro.
And you were hyped or what?
I was hyped.
What was that like?
I was, it was unbelievable.
Really?
I was like this, it was like Revive. I wanted to be on Revive. But then my mini goal was like, I want to be in a skate sport. I want to meet Aaron.
Yeah.
So that was like the next goal. I was like, achieved. I'm featured. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't long. I think that was January. Maybe like December, January 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
Around that time. And then that was when you were starting to transition, going to Fremont.
Yes.
And doing more live skate supports. And that's when you posted on Instagram that you were going to go to Fremont Skate Park and do live skate sports. And
that's what happened.
That's what happened.
I posted and said I would go there.
Yeah, and that was
I need to do that more.
Yeah, first time you ever did that. And I was like, okay, well, here it is. I'm not going.
You were freaking out.
I was hella nervous, dude.
Really?
I was super intimidated. And I'll be honest, out of all the Revive guys, I think you were by far the most intimidating. And I don't know why, but I think everyone just had like a very like fun, laid back demeanor. And I feel like you were very kind of like intense skate, teach you kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of came off as like a little intimidating at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only like 15 at that point, which I guess is, different maturity levels for different people. But I was like, I can't go. Like, I don't know if I can meet this guy.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of credit to my mom because she, over my whole life, has been so supportive. Anything
Shout
I'm
out
interested
Gabe's
in,
mom.
yeah, anything I'm interested in, she's supporting or buying me. I'm an only child, so I have that luxury. I'm very grateful. But it was that time where she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What do you mean? I can't." She was like, "You are going. If I have to put you in this car and drive you to Fremont and kick you out the car, you're going."
Yeah.
And I was like, Ma says I must do it, right?
Mom feeds me. I must do what mom says.
Exactly.
She might not feed me.
I
no more hamburgers.
Yeah. So yeah, I go there and I pull up in the parking lot and I see you there, just tall as hell.
Yeah.
For no reason.
That's what everybody says.
I'm
You're
like,
so much taller than I thought.
I'm like, dude, why
what
is
do you
this
think?
guy like 8 feet tall? Freaking NBA player over here. And I look at her, I'm like, I can't do it. And she's like, you need to go in there. You need to film a video with him. And you need to tell him that you will literally work for him in any way you can do.
Yeah.
She gave me the whole script, basically.
Oh, wow. Your mom hooked it up.
Like she knew like what
How
I
to
had to
handle
do.
it.
Yeah.
She's your best agent.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know if this is coming off as like mean or like wrong, but she maybe, I guess, knew the opportunity that I didn't at that point.
Yeah, she was older, smarter.
Yeah.
Maybe she was just like believed in you and what you could do.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, I when I was waiting for my turn, I didn't want to just like go snake someone. So I remember you were doing some skate sport with someone, and then I was just kind of waiting to inch my way in after. And then the time came to go up to you. And I was like, how do I just not come off as like some awkward fanboy? Like that was what I was trying not to do. Was be like the fanboy that you're like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. Never going to remember you. So I was like, I need to stand out. So first I was like, I need to go up and be cool. Just be like, hey, what's up? And then bring up the damn skate support because I know he'll remember it if I bring it up.
Bring up the teleportation.
Yeah. But I have a question for you, though. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I remember.
But when I asked you, you know, hey, I sent in a skate support, I teleported in, you were like, you did that?
Yeah.
Did you actually remember?
100%.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's no forgetting that.
Okay.
Like if somebody sends in a skate support, like I said, 9 out of 10 skate supports are people that don't even follow the directions to say what their name is, what trick they're working on, what they have done. Well, the only thing they do is just, even sometimes they talk and sometimes even a voiceover. And I understand this too, because not everybody's comfortable with talking on the internet.
Yeah.
Now that I've been doing this for so long, I realize how much of a barrier that is for people.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just, here's my kickflip. I need help with my kickflip. And there's 1 or 2 shots of him not even coming close to the kickflip. And a lot of times I go back and learn ollies. But I can't really even say that because I need to see, in order to properly instruct you, I need to see your ollie, frontside 180, backside 180. You know, I want all those tricks. Yeah. Man, I need to do this more. See, I need to figure out a way. See, it's changed so much because back in the day, it was just like, oh, make a skate support, throw it on the channel. Yeah. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Now it's like every day must be the best video you've ever made in your entire life.
We're in the Mr. Beast era of social media.
We're in the Mr. Beast era of social media, and I got to figure out a way to get back to that or make a nice kind of, I don't know, make a nice pot of the ingredients here.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like the commercialization of just everything is like very played out. Yeah. And I think we're going to regress to the mean like sooner rather than later.
I think so too. We were talking about this the other day. We're like going back.
Yes, we are. And as much as I'm like, yes, we need to up the quality of like skate supports, the only thing I really think we need to up the quality on is how much we can actually help people.
That's right. That's what I agree with.
The
and
goal.
Then just how do we do that now? And it makes me think, do we do skate supports on TikTok and Instagram?
I mean, yeah, we could definitely utilize different social media platforms a little better than YouTube. But then at the same time, like, you know, the inspiration is what's important. Yeah. And as soon as you delve into that, like, what's up, guys? We're here gonna teach this guy how to kickflip. $5,000. Dead. Like that's, I mean, like sure, someone might land it for $5,000. But then like everyone else, like I don't know if maybe it's just me. I won't speak for everyone, but I would watch that video and be like, yeah, everyone's gonna do a kickflip for $5,000, or at least try as hard as they can. Yeah, like that's cool. And then just kind of get discouraged.
He's talking about some videos we would make. It'd be like learn a kickflip for $10,000. Yeah, it would be a challenge. We did it with Chloe. If she could land a kickflip in 1 hour. She would get $10,000. Yeah. Which she really, really wanted to get that $10,000. And it's basically impossible. Yeah. To make a long story short, because she's a beginner skateboarder just working on ollies. And I guess I'm making the video from the viewpoint of like, it doesn't matter how much you want it. If you don't practice skateboarding correctly in the correct sequence, you're not going to do it. Yeah. So, but people out there say, well, I would land a kickflip for $10,000 in 1 hour. And I'm just telling you, no, you won't.
Yeah. And then it kind of turns into like this argument kind of like negative thing, which also I think is just not the way to go either.
Yeah. You're right, though. It just becomes about how many people can we help? How fast can we help them? And how do we do that? Yeah. And I think it's the same things with the worst sport at the park. Like, screw it. Let's just go give as many skateboards away as we possibly can to people who truly need them. Yeah, exactly. And also to kids that deserve them because they're skating hard, they're learning tricks. I know, we got to just get back into that.
Yes, we do.
We got to. But it's so funny because, you know, especially even just reading the comments every day, it's so hard to keep up with like, one day you have a video that's like subpar the best video you've ever made in your whole life. Yeah. Gabe and I are constantly, every day must be the best video we've ever made, better than the day before. And some comments are saying, you guys you should not make a daily video anymore. They're saying make 3 videos a week or make 1 a week.
We're gonna have to film a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Quite literally. But it's interesting because maybe if we did that, I don't know, it's just a fascinating idea.
I mean, the theory is that we, put out 3 fantastic videos a week and maybe they do a lot better on views. But I mean, the other, very possible thing is that it's just.
Yeah. And when we've tested it before, sometimes we'll test these on the other channels. And it becomes also like running a business is another aspect of it that is pretty much all on my shoulders. And I try to keep a lot of that off of everybody else's plate. But it's almost like, well, if we have less videos going up that are doing as good as they're doing now, or like you just have to maintain a certain level of financial support, literally even to keep the employees paid.
Yeah.
That's what one thing that people don't always think about is like, how's the payroll work? Like that's a situation. And, between the payroll, paying for the warehouse, there's so many expenses.
I mean, just the, buying props for videos and funding actual video production.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh,
it gets expensive.
It's very difficult, very expensive.
Yeah. And sometimes you go, is it really worth it to do that? But man, I like the idea of just going back to, but it's not the same YouTube that it was in 2016. It's not the same, but sometimes it is though, we did this one short recently where it was like, I was teaching a kid to do a kickflip and dude, just millions and millions of views.
Yeah. I mean, remember the drop-in from the Braille house party a few years ago?
Yes.
Just simple drop-in, teaching this kid how to drop in. Explosion social media views. Yeah,
and you never know, but it's also that good feel like we're just creating. I love that because I feel like you wake up every day and you go, I'm gonna do something today that's gonna make somebody else's day a little brighter.
Yeah,
and I like that feeling. That's where this is the conversation that Lance and I would always get into.
Yeah,
Lance was like, we're entertainers. We're going to make videos that are entertaining. And like the iPad video, the glassboard video, entertaining, but they're not like an educational, that video did brighten somebody's day. Yeah. But then I had this weird thing where I would go to the skate park and all these kids would say, I started skateboarding because of the glass board.
Yeah.
And then I went, whoa, it's an intro.
Yeah.
And then into the teaching. And now I feel like now we're only doing the intro and we're not quite doing as much of the teaching.
That's why I think it's very interesting having like 2 people, like hearing that what you just said about Lance is super interesting because I learned a lot of we're skipping forward in timeline a little bit.
We're jumping all over the place, but an interesting conversation, interesting topic.
Yeah, for sure. But just from my kind of like going from interning to skate supports to you hiring me full-time in 2016 when we get the warehouse to kind of manage all this stuff and do Braille Army full-time.
Yeah.
Like my main YouTube journey and my knowledge was from that kind of like a viral Lance era from 2016 to 2017 midway when he decided to leave. So my full upbringing is like, oh, we getting the views, baby.
Yeah. So. And back in the day, it wasn't about that at all. It was like, which I think it's the catalyst to that. Like, I think 100%. I'm going to teach you guys how to skateboard no matter what happens. Yeah. I don't care. I remember saying, I will continue to do the skate supports even if they get literally 1 view. Yeah. And the only view they get is that one person who sent it in. And then I stopped doing the skate supports, and now I need to get them back. Yeah. Throughout the years they've been in and out and in, and now we have this huge production with all of these people, tons of people making the videos between 3 different editors. We got tons of skaters, a handful of skaters. Back in the day, it would be just literally me and Gabe. We'd be like, well, we're going to play a game of skate. And
Walmart
Crocs.
board game of skate?
Walmart
Crocs?
board game of skate, Crocs game of skate, Flippers game of skate. We would make 7 videos in a day.
Game of skate rematch 1000.
Yeah, literally. And it was such a different time period, and it was just so different. But now, what I think is so funny is back then, I was so strict on the skate supports. And now we have this huge organization. Not huge, but it feels huge compared to what it was like. Yeah. Almost feels unmanageable at times. Yeah. And now to get the skate supports done is the literal hardest thing ever.
It is.
just to get somebody to like pull this footage off the internet, edit it up, send it to me, and then I'll get that file, and then I'll just voice over the skate support, send it back, and then somebody else has to upload it. I don't know why before it was so easy, and now it's so hard.
Yeah.
We need to put somebody in charge of that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff has definitely shifted over the years, but yeah, I mean, from me being at Fremont and doing that skate sport and landing that tray flip, which I'll be 100% honest with you, I did land before that video.
You are a liar full of cap. So in the video, you said you never land it.
I landed it.
But you had landed it.
Landed one.
So like you landed one, but it was sketchy or wasn't good. Or
I wasn't good at them.
Okay.
Like I could land like one out of like.
You might have said that in the video.
Maybe like 20.
Okay.
Or like 10 or 20. Like it was not consistent at all. But I had done them before.
Okay, fair enough.
After that, but the skate sport did help, like the online one. So it did move me from not being able to do it to being able to do it.
Okay, so you had never landed one. You sent in the skate support.
Yes.
You saw that video.
Learned them.
And then you did land one.
Yes.
And then you went for live skate support.
Yes.
And then the live skate support.
And then it was a little bit of showbiz, baby.
Oh, really? You were kicking away.
And then I was like, no, I definitely was trying.
Yeah.
But I was also like, how cool am I going to look? Like, he's going to remember me if I'm like this kid that had never tray flipped before and then do it in 5 tries. Like, that makes an impression.
Yeah, it's so funny you're trying to make an impression.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
No, I understand. It's
mom speaks the knowledge. You gotta put, you gotta
put the burgers on the table,
gotta make
Mom.
her proud.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, and then I did the tray flip, and then like what I'm saying right now does not take away from how absolutely sick that was for me. Like that was really special.
Well, say how sick it was.
And landing that like you doing. I remember one thing is you tried a tray flip and you missed it, and then I landed it, and I was like, I did it. Like I freaking did it.
Competitive Gabe.
And then we got a back to back, and then you came up and high fived me, and I was like, dude, this is like, I can't believe what's occurring right now, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like a surreal thing that you can see happening.
Yeah.
And you try to like make come to fruition somehow, but then like sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, but this time it did.
Yeah.
And it was like really special.
Magical.
Yeah. That's kind of like, it was my Disneyland at that point.
Yeah.
Meeting freaking Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire at like a, at a restaurant or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like special like that,
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, so we, I just remember her telling me like, just give him your contact info in any way possible. And I think all I had in my wallet was like a receipt, the folded up receipt. And I think I just wrote my name, my phone number on there, and then I gave it to you. And I was like, dude, anything you need. Any edits, like filming, anything I'll do, just hit me up. And I think it was about a month later, probably around like late February, March in that area, that you hit me up for Push Skateboarding, Braille Army.
Okay.
You wanted me to make those titles for you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Push Skateboarding was the first one.
Okay.
And then made that one. And I was like, I got to nail this, which you did like.
Yeah.
And then we did Braille Army. And then
Braille Army was like the bullet holes.
The bullet holes in the glass, yeah.
Yes.
Which, physics made no sense in that. The glass should have just shattered, which honestly is a way cooler idea.
It's so sick. It's so sick even to this day. I played that the other day and people were like, why aren't we using this graphic now? And I was like, because we're just busy. I don't know what happened to us. We lost our heart and soul.
Oh my gosh. And then it was titles. The next one was titles for, can I say it? For the pros.
Sure.
For Chris Chan and Cody Cepeda, who were going to go pro for Braille skateboarding.
Oh, they were never going to go pro for Braille skateboarding. Or like
they were going to be on like a team though, right? Like on the Braille team, from my understanding.
You could say anything, just so you know. There's nothing that you can't say. Yeah. There's nothing that's secret. There's nothing. It's just bada boom, bada bing. Let it rip.
We're just letting it fly.
But you want to tell that story? I'll tell that story.
I don't think we need to get into it. I'm just kind of going through like project wise.
I'm going to tell the story. People are going to be too interested in the story.
But before you start this story, I just when you told me Chris Chan and Cody Cepeda are like going to be on Braille, I was like, oh, I'm in. I was like, this is crazy.
He wasn't in for me, but Chris Chan, he's in.
Yeah, but I was
he's
like,
ready.
No, but I was
Chris Chan was like almost an unknown entity at this point. Very early.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Spada was kind of getting up there, though, right?
No.
Wasn't
Same.
Wasn't this after Barracks?
It was during the Barracks. It
was right
okay,
at the start. Okay.
That's right. So it was right during the period where it was like, wait a sec, who is this?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But
Okay,
it
I'm
was
going
a
to tell
smart
that
move.
story just really fast so
Yeah.
people understand what we're talking about, where we're coming from. What's going on, everybody? I want to take a second to tell you about Audible, the #1 platform for audiobooks, podcasts, and more. With Audible, you have access to over 400,000 titles, including one of my favorites, Shoe Dog, the story of the Nike owner, Phil Knight. As a small business owner and skater, it was so interesting to see what he went through in building the Nike empire and how it all started. This is an inspiring and motivating story, and I would recommend it to anyone. The way Audible works is amazing. With Audible Plus, you get instant access to thousands of audiobooks, sleep guides, and podcasts for just $7.95. Yours to enjoy as a subscriber, or you can upgrade to Audible Premium Plus and get everything included in Audible Plus, plus one additional audiobook every month, yours to stream, download, and keep forever, even if you cancel your subscription, which is easy to do, but trust me, you won't want to. There are many amazing books on Audible, and as a listening viewer of the Braille Drop, you can download a free audiobook today that's yours forever, whether you subscribe or not. Just go to thebrailledrop.com/audible to sign up for a free 30-day trial and receive one free audiobook that's yours to keep. Doing so really helps support the show. That's thebrailledrop.com/audible to get a completely free audiobook on Audible. Thanks, and now back to the show. Okay, so I made a contest, best trick contest, and then I get this video of a kid at a skate park doing a 720 shove it big spin.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I literally found this comment. I found this the other day. This reminds me, I need to get Christopher Chan, please come to the principal's office. Okay, so Chris Chan is that person.
Yeah.
He did the 720 bigger spin, is like the bigger spin.
I remember.
And I said, you won the contest, okay?
Yeah.
Nobody else did anything. Even
No
close
one's
to that.
touching that.
You won that. And then I was going to LA for a YouTube conference. They paid me to fly down there and do this thing called Creator Accelerator, where they gave me money to buy a computer. I think it might literally be this computer that I bought and a camera. It was like a gift card to B&H Photo. And then I got a computer and a camera and like one of these crazy like tripod things. Yeah. Anyways, now I'm getting way off the topic.
Here we go.
And then I go and meet Chris Chan. Yeah. And the Chris Chan story is so crazy. I actually don't want to tell it right now because I need to get Chris Chan on the
you got to
podcast.
save that for his episode for sure.
Yeah. But it was basically like the start of Chris Chan on YouTube, period. Yeah. I'm just going to throw that mystery teaser in there. But look at this. I said, this is from Facebook. This is February 5th, 2014. I said, congratulations on Battle of the Barracks 7. He just got announced that he was in the contest.
That was Pros versus Joes?
Pros versus Joes.
Oh, man, that game.
The absolute best.
That was the best one.
And I said, so funny, I was just thinking about you today, going to contact you about collaborating on some videos. You won the New Year's contest with the bigger, big spin. I love that that's what I called it. Bigger, big spin. That was your clip, right? Text me on my cell. Then I give my number and he says, okay, I'll text you. Then he sends me a YouTube link and some other stuff. And that was like the intro to Chris Chan. So then I meet Chris Chan and I become friends with him. Yeah. And then I'm like, this is the sickest kid ever. He's just like the really, really good skater. So awesome. And then we're skating in LA and then I meet Cody Cepeda. Yeah. And I'm basically like same thing. Yeah. So rad, so amazing, so incredible.
Yeah. Cody's ridiculous too. Oh my God.
Unbelievable. And then I filmed these 3 games of skate. Chris Chan versus Cody Cepeda.
That's what it was.
They are the most mind-blowing games of skate to this day ever. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm starting this team to promote skateboarding made simple. It was lit. There was no boards. It was not skateboarding, Braille Skateboards Company. So I do this big announcement and I announced this Braille skateboarding team. And the point of this team was that they were going to promote tutorial videos.
They're going to push skateboarding.
They're going to push skateboarding. And I was like, everybody else has a team. Why don't I have a team? What's my product? Skateboard tutorial videos. But it got a little confusing. So somebody within the industry who will remain unnamed called them and said, hey, you guys, this is getting really confusing.
Yeah.
Because we're working with you and we're working with you along these lines. And somebody who might want to sponsor you for a board company will be very confused.
Yes.
Because they will not sponsor you because you're already on Braille skateboarding. And they both got really freaked out.
Yeah.
And they basically called me and said, Aaron, could you please take down the videos and please don't put up those games of skate? And I was like, who said what? Let me call them.
Yeah.
And then then that's kind of the end of the story.
Yeah.
But basically what ended up happening is I basically had to bury those 3 games of skate. We can find them somewhere.
So there's 3 games of skate. So it went 1-1 and then tiebreaker at the end.
Yeah. And it was crazy.
Man.
It was straight up crazy.
Yeah, I bet.
And we need to find, I'm going to find those games of skate and I'm going to call every individual involved with this scenario from Cody to Chris to the industry person. And I'm going to say, first of all, I deserve an apology at this moment in time. I'm just trying to help them out. Like a little misunderstanding, I get it. But they were legitimately really upset. If they're listening to this, I'm sorry that happened. And I did everything I could to say, I pulled down every announcement video. And I said, look, if this is going to hurt your skateboard career in some way, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help your skateboard career. Now, looking back at it, I just think the whole thing is kind of funny. I don't think it would have hurt them at all. I think it would have helped them on the contrary.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's just super interesting. But I also think the people in the world deserve to see early Chris Chan versus Cody Cepeda 3-game tournament.
I just know they were throwing some craziness.
Dude, it was insane.
Yeah. Was it at Lake Street?
Yes, at Lake Street, live studio audience, and both of them were training for Battle of the Barracks 7.
Oh, yeah.
It is as good as it can get.
This might be one of the greatest games in history.
It might literally be.
Dude, we got to find this. We really do have to make this. We got to make this happen. We got to bring it back.
I should find it. It's probably just on one of my 5,000 hard drives at home. Anyway, so that's what happened. That's what happened with Chris Chan. He was on, and then 1 week, probably like the day after we announced the team, then everybody was off. And that was the end of the team.
I just remember it going up. And I was like, oh, it's gone. What happened?
Yeah, I know. Everybody was wondering.
And I was like, dang, you hated my work. No, just kidding. But no, I remember, like when you told me that they were going to do that for you, I was like, wow, he's telling me like insider stuff. Like he trusts me a little bit now. Like,
yeah,
that's
we're
cool.
making moves.
Yeah.
Industry moves.
Like, I got to keep this quiet. But it was very soon after that. It was going to be my 16th birthday on April 13th. And then that's when I hit you up and I was like, hey, can I come to the old spot? Can I film with you guys on this, momentous Saturday afternoon?
Yes.
And that's when you were like, yeah, for sure.
And I had the old Acura Integra with the yellow manual pad on top. Yeah. Or was the manual pad after that?
No, I think the manual pad was during that time.
Yeah.
A little funny background story I'll tell you about this is since I wasn't 16 yet, I technically didn't have my official driver's license, so wasn't supposed to drive on my own.
Yeah.
So my mom drove me around the corner, or like I can drive with her in the car.
Yeah.
So I drove around the corner, and then I was filming a day in the life the whole time, little vlog.
Yeah, I remember that.
About meeting you.
I remember that.
And then we stopped around the corner, and I was like, can I drive over there by myself? And she was like, yeah, go ahead. Because someone else drove by.
Oh, so you drove 2 cars.
So we drove 2 cars so she could go home. Yeah.
You straight up kicked your mom out of the car.
No.
Your biggest fan.
I don't remember. It was probably her idea, though. And then I pulled up around the corner like, yeah, I'm driving myself. I got transportation. He could rely on me if I need to go somewhere and film something.
It's so funny, all of the ideas you had in your head.
I'm just a super overthinker, as you know.
But you were kind of also like, for lack of a better word, manifesting this whole thing through.
Yeah, you could say it. It was something I really wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's important when you want something and you have goals that you want to achieve. Sometimes you just got to do everything in your power to make that dream happen, right?
Yes.
And this was my dream. I was like, I want to be friends with you. I want to film videos for a living, which
Yes.
at the time was like seeing Smosh and all these YouTube guys and Revive. I was like, I want to do that.
Yes.
So it was just like me manifesting in my own super analytical kind of like, just, I have to make this happen. Here's how every step has to work kind of way.
5,000 videos later, he's wondering what happened to his life.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I got a question for you from like a viewpoint situation. So there is this shot in the All Terrain Tour, which I have no idea when this is going to be viewed or if that's even on YouTube yet. But hopefully it is on YouTube. But where I roll into the skate park and I'm on the phone, I think it was like a very intense conversation between me and my wife. She's probably yelling at me for something or other. But I'm out on the road. We're at the skate park in Montana, and I just roll. I'm going to go to the skate park. I'm going to roll around, and I'm on the phone. And then this kid sees me roll by, and then he starts freaking out. He's like, oh my God, Aaron, go. And then you're like, what's the matter? And he's like, you don't even understand. I watch you guys like 3 times a day. I watch videos that I've already watched.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And like, why are you freaking out? He's like, no, you don't get it. And I'm like, yeah, I remember.
But now you're one of those people that you will go to the skate park or even the grocery store or even Target, and people will freak out about you. So how do you feel now that you're in those shoes versus how you felt then and all the nerves and nervousness? Because I always tell kids, like, we're just people just like anybody else.
Yeah.
What would you have to say about that?
I preface that by like very much belittling my social status, like what I do on YouTube and getting recognized and stuff. Like, I am so low on the spectrum, it shouldn't even be counted.
Well, why would you say that?
I mean, you got like, actors and athletes and celebrities and super famous YouTubers and stuff like that. Like, none of that stuff matters to me. Like, if I could just make videos full time and like, I scream a lot on camera and I'm hyped for my friends. When they land tricks.
Got to talk about the screaming.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But just from like this is just something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And that means nothing. Like, not like the status means nothing in terms of like, I need to achieve fame, right?
Yes.
That means nothing to me. But
right.
A kid coming up to me or like a fan coming up to me, if you can even like, if you call him that, and saying like, hey, you taught me how to skate, I love watching you, or like, hey, I remember when you did this trick, like that is super, super awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
You like it?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I mean, there's always situations, maybe like date night with my lady or something like that, where
it's uncomfortable,
where it's a little uncomfortable.
Like what?
Like there's this one time I was in downtown San Diego. I have my new dog. I'm with my girlfriend, and then we're with her sister as well. We're just having like a nice Italian dinner on the patio, and then this family comes up that knows who I am, and there's like a little railing separating us from the main road.
Yes.
And they are all just leaning over the railing, kind of just like super hyped up, like drawing a lot of attention.
Yes.
And, it's not that I wasn't appreciative. I got up and took a picture and was super nice and shaking hands. But,
always.
When you're trying to keep it a little low key, sometimes it can get a little awkward sometimes,
Yes.
But, it just depends on the situation, as I think you know as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like sometimes I'll just be having the worst day, and I don't know why I'm even having a bad day. It'll just be a crappy day, which sometimes happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be out with my wife or whatever, and I was at the store the other day with my wife. She's buying shirts. And I'm just standing there like, I don't even know. I think maybe I was answering YouTube comments and the daily video was crap, and I need to come up with whatever money to buy shoes that come, I'm always dealing with all these business.
Some kind of mathematical equation going on constantly.
Going in my head. And the guy that works at the store was like, hey, do you need any help? I'm like, no, I'm just here waiting for my wife. She's in the dressing room. And then he's like, wait a second. Are you Aaron Kyro? And I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
You know, and that's about it. And then he's like, whoa, cool. I'm like, yeah, so thanks so much.
Yeah.
And I just say something like that. And then my wife comes over. She's like, you need to be nicer to people.
Wow.
Yeah, she
really?
caught every straight up. Yeah.
Dang.
Every time.
Okay.
And then I'm like, and then I'm like, well, I didn't say anything mean, but she's like, what she says is like, no, you didn't. You're not. You're never mean.
Yeah.
And I will never be like, no, or whatever in any scenario. Anybody wants to take a picture, get a signature anytime, it's all good.
I mean, that's what it's all about.
It's all about those people, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, you just need to be more excited.
And
And I'm like, I don't know what to say.
yeah,
Like,
no,
sometimes it's
dude,
so
I feel that
awkward.
so much. I feel that. That's actually literally what I was gonna say next. Is like I have like Braille clothes when I'm filming and working and stuff like that, and then I have my go out clothes, and you've seen it.
Yes.
Right? So,
he's in
like,
a pure disguise.
I'm pretty disguised out there.
Yeah.
So sometimes when someone comes up, you get caught off guard.
Yes.
And it's in those situations, like, never have I ever been rude to someone. Like,
Yeah.
it's always love. It's always, you want to take a picture, let's do it. I'm hyped. But like sometimes they catch you off guard and it can be awkward as hell, dude.
But more times than not,
Oh my God.
more times than not, it's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you get these funny, like I went to dinner with my wife the other night and the manager at the restaurant was like, your meal is on us.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to bring in a kid in need and I'll help you because you help the community, you can bring in a kid in need and we'll pay for the meal.
That's awesome.
And then we went to Pete's and then the person at Pete's was like, your money's no good here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world? And sometimes it's so funny.
Yeah. That happened to us at a Pete's not too far from here too.
Yeah, and it's funny that we just, you know, we're just normal people just like anybody else and we make these goofy, funny videos.
Yeah.
But I think also from your viewpoint of like growing up with Smosh is like, I didn't grow up with any of that. This world didn't even exist.
Yeah. I mean, I have a fair share of like, I mean, I'll still meet people and be hyped too. Like, like I remember, I think VidCon like 2019 or something like that.
Yeah.
I went with you guys for our booth and then I'm walking from our hotel to VidCon and I literally saw Anthony Padilla from Smosh.
Right.
And he was like running late.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this because I mean, I'd been doing it. That's when like we were super popping and we were getting recognized a lot.
Yeah.
So I remember like I saw him, I was like, hey, I have to ask him for a picture.
Yeah.
And my confidence was a little up at that point too, because like, you know, you're doing the YouTube thing. So, you know, I can talk to you and like I at least have something to back myself up. If you're like, who the hell are you, right?
Yeah.
So I went up and I was like, hey man, much respect to everything you do. Like, you know, love what you do. Like, you mind if we get a picture? And he literally was like, oh, man, I'm running super late. I don't know if I can. And then was like, no, I got you, man. I got you. And took a picture with me. And I was like, dude, thanks so much. And then he like literally sprinted off to go to his like convention or whatever he was doing. And I just remember that like, that was so sick. Cause like, you know, he could have easily just ignored me and act like he didn't hear me.
Kept running.
All right. Kept running. Exactly. But you know, to take the time of your day to do that. And for me, it made my day. Like that's, I mean, I think that's super important.
Just like if you can wake up every day and go, I'm going to make somebody's day a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and take it off of the like nuts and bolts of black and white numbers on a computer screen of how many views did we get today? What was our click-through rate today?
If my screaming has made anyone's day worse, I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, talk about the screaming. we got a lot of controversy.
Should we get into it?
Yeah, I just read a comment the other day that was like,
man, you know,
this comment was got me. He was like, I haven't watched a video in 4 years. I just came back to see how the audio quality was. And Gabe Cruz, no, he did not call you out specifically. He says, the cameraman is still screaming. He wasn't even like saying, he was like, at the very least, can you just tone it down with the editing? Like just take the audio of the editing and just turn it down.
See, when I edit the videos, I do.
I think it's so funny because Aussie Dan, who's editing the videos that he's talking about there, is a literal audio engineer.
He does put a limiter on it.
I'm sure
he does. We all do. We all do. My voice carries, but the acoustics in this warehouse are terrible.
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
Which makes me want to just film outside all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, don't get me. I'm still loud when we're outside.
Yeah.
No, I definitely do scream a lot. But again, it's just part of like filming YouTube videos. Like, sure, the audio would be better, but like if you're learning how to skate and you don't have anyone to learn with, for example,
Yeah.
and you are growing up learning how to skate by watching us and living like vicariously through our videos.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be hyped up to go out and skate every morning if you know, Glow does like a big spin front board down the handrail and all we hear is golf claps, golf snaps? Or are you going to be like, you know, fired up when he lands it and we're all just losing our minds, freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my mentality.
I know it's something that's like when we film a video and we are like naturally, this is the other thing about the quality of the content of the videos. The other day we did this Lego board video. We pull out the board and we're like, okay, thing films flimsy.
Yeah, looks cool. Not many expectations on durability.
Looks cool,
Yeah.
feels too light, feels like it's going to break. And then we start skating it and we're like, this thing is not
Yeah.
breaking.
It was great.
And then every trick that we did, we couldn't, like, you literally a kid, like I feel like a kid again.
Yes.
Now that I'm a 39-year-old grown man and we've made 5,000 plus videos on YouTube. And then we do a trick on it and we're just excited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. I cannot hold that excitement in.
I mean, yeah.
But I think that is a good video because we're excited. The audience is
Yeah.
going to be excited. And I know instantly this video is good.
Yeah, and that's the thing that happens when you do daily videos for, 10 plus years is you get into that kind of like flow state where,
Yeah.
you're just kind of doing things to do it. And all right, we'll do our trick on the A-frame, then we'll
Yes.
move over to the hip, and move over to the 5-stair. And then Gabe Cruz's screams are all that's keeping the videos hyped. I'm just
And
kidding.
and fair point. And I also read the comments every single day,
Yeah.
and I try to answer as many comments as I can.
Mhm.
And I also love to hear what the audience thinks. And
Yeah.
when they say something like the videos are getting repetitive and boring,
Yeah.
I go, I agree with you.
You're
100
100% right.
Like, we're making these videos not for us.
Yeah.
We're making them for you.
Mhm.
And if you think they're repetitive and boring, then they are.
Yeah.
And there's two ways to take that. I could be like, "Oh, you're just a hater," but no, you're a person who enjoys our videos, and you want them to be more exciting.
Mhm.
So we have to solve. So then it's funny because then we finished that video and we were like, "That was so fun.
Yeah.
That's a great video."
Yeah.
Back in the day, everything was so fun.
Yeah.
because it was so new.
Yes.
But also, like, there's also a factor of like show up every day as if it's the first time you've ever skated.
Yeah.
And you have to just bring that kind of energy,
Yeah.
which is not always easy. So there's a factor of that. But there's also like, and then I told Gabe, we just have to have every video. We just need to do that for every video.
Yeah.
If we could get a mind-blowingly incredible board for
Yeah.
every video,
Mhm.
it would be piece of cake.
Yeah. Send us boards. Skate it at brailleskateboarding.com.
Skate it at brailleskateboarding.com. Well, that's the other thing. When that video series started going viral,
Yeah.
we had almost a whole half a warehouse full of boards that were sent in.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, do we got anything in the emails? Oh, check it again. But and people go, well, I'm thinking about sending a board with human teeth, and we're like, no, we already did that.
Yeah.
And then you get into this funny thing where the audience expects it has to be new every time.
Yeah.
So you can't repeat something.
Mhm.
And then some comments will say, I think it's valid to repeat a video that you did maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But once you do it, they are calling you out.
Yeah. Then we'll recreate a video from 6 years ago. Why are you doing that again?
But I love it. I think it's awesome. I appreciate the audience. So that's another thing that I just used to be. I look back at these times. I have this screenshot of my channel and it said 30,000 subscribers.
Mhm.
And if 30,000 subscribers and 5 million views.
Wow.
And I was literally like, I'm crazy. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I could never imagine. And I just remember thinking like 30,000 people. I grew up in a town of 2,000 people.
Mhm.
So that is 15 times the size of the town where I grew up.
That's crazy.
And it was mind blowing. And now I feel like the numbers are so crazy that you can't even fathom
It's
it.
hard to quantify.
Yeah, 5.8 million subscribers 1.8 billion with a B views.
Yeah. What's the population of California?
I don't know.
I mean, gosh.
I
Yeah,
don't
it is.
know. But then but then I always try to remind myself, and I always try and stay humble and stay like, I don't know,
Yeah.
not head in the clouds.
Yeah. I think the way to do it is focus on making like the best content.
That is right.
And
that's what it comes down to every time.
And if you're sitting here like, oh, I got 6 million subs, I'm Aaron Kyro, I can do whatever the hell I want.
Worst.
Forget what people say. That's when, you don't deserve that platform.
It's just horrendous.
Yeah.
So now we're just trying to solve, how do we make the absolute best videos that we can make?
Yeah.
And then we make some, like, we have this video recently that we filmed, like, world's best freestyle skateboarder.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be coming up. Probably by the time you guys see this, that video will all be there.
Yeah.
We did that downhill longboard
that's
one.
our glass.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Go get it. So what occurred just there is the postman just dropped off a stained glass skateboard. Stained glass skateboard. And, we're always trying to think about coming up with the absolute best ideas that we can come up with.
Yeah.
And back in the day, it was like, I don't know, it seemed so much easier, maybe because we hadn't done 5,000 already and everything wasn't so fresh and new.
Yeah, back in the day, it was, what can we skate? Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Now someone goes, what haven't you skated?
It's so
and
hard
I'm like,
to figure out what we haven't
I
skated.
don't know. And I'll have people like every once in a while we'll do like a family gathering, and
so they're saying
so they're saying like, what haven't you skated? What haven't you done? Like, and I'll say, all right, well, try me, list stuff, and let's play a game, and they'll literally list like 20 things, and I'm like, yeah, we did that. Oh, wait, nope, yep, did that back in 2016.
It's sometimes we don't even remember, and you look it up. You search, did they skate on a fish tank? Yep, yeah, we did.
And then we did it twice.
We did it. Yeah.
That's the funniest thing for me. Oh man.
Yeah, but it's so funny and it's so crazy and it's so interesting how far we've come and how much it's evolved.
Yeah.
And the social media platforms themselves are evolving, and it's just very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so back to Gabe Cruz's story. He comes forward, then he becomes a part of Braille skateboarding, starts working there.
Yeah.
And then I remember this time period talking about Gabe Cruz's competitive streak, where Gabe takes over Braille Army channel.
Yes.
And he's always telling, Lance is making main Braille.
Yeah.
Main Braille meaning just the main channel, Braille Army being the secondary channel.
I know. I see where you're going.
And Gabe is always like, I'm going to make a better video than Lance.
It was a big competition. It happened a few times too.
Tell me about it.
It did happen. Yeah, it was kind of like that Big Brother competition.
Yeah.
Where, Lance had the big guns.
Yes.
And I had the growing one, but I was just so happy. Like, I mean, you told me, coming out of high school, I was, I was going to college at that point at SF State.
Yeah.
But I was maybe like a month and a half into my semester.
Right.
And then you tell me, hey, you want to work full time and run the Braille Army channel and come work at our warehouse every day? I'm like, here we are. I did it.
The time has come.
This is amazing. It was just like working as an intern. I remember getting paid like a certain amount per like skate support and per
literal pay per video.
Yeah,
it wasn't hourly; it was per video.
And then I remember Devin. I used to have her in my phone as Devon O-N.
Yeah,
and she was like this super intimidating lady. I had no idea who she was.
Yeah,
and I would text her like, I think you have to pay me today. This is how many videos I filmed, and just hope she wouldn't like question me or something like that. But yeah,
Devin is an accountant and she runs the financials of Braille skateboarding to this day. Shout out Devin for keeping us afloat.
Seriously. Seriously. Oh my goodness. It started with doing the Braille Army edits. I know you remember a little bit before I started doing those main videos, we'd have people submit their video parts and stuff like that. So it started there, where I would just kind of like do my roller skate sports and edit them together, intro, outro, send them to you if you needed to react to them or anything like that. And then
see, this is where I want to go with Braille Army now.
yeah,
I want
think
people to send parts that want to react to them.
Yeah, and I mean, Braille Army is the place for skate sports. I feel like that's our avenue right there.
Yeah. Do we do long form or shorts? Probably shorts.
I think so. Just the way that social media is going.
Yeah.
But then yeah, you have me come on to do full time as Braille Army, and that was the first time I was like gifted a channel to just have as my baby, do everything, film, edit,
Yes.
thumbnails, everything, the whole shebang.
Which is a big deal, and it's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
Anybody who thinks what we're doing is easy, think again.
It's really not. And I think just from the, like, we didn't even get into the whole thing, like before even all that, before I started editing skate sports, you and Lance had to come to my house and teach me how to use Premiere and teach me how to like, you know, edit in your format and do all of this stuff.
Right.
And I remember taking a picture. I probably have that picture somewhere of you guys at my house. I was so hyped.
Yeah. I remember going to your house.
Yeah. But I think that's just like very like important to preface, like how much work truly went into it.
Yeah.
So I just remember like Braille Army started as our kind of like introductory idea was, all right, we'll do, you know, these fan submitted videos showing their skating and get people hyped to send them in. And then we'll do behind the scenes of the main videos.
Yes.
So people can see like what goes on behind the scenes for those of us who aren't in every second of the video. What are they up to? What shenanigans are we doing? And kind of build up that humanity and build up, you know, our identity a little bit behind the camera.
Yeah.
And dude, it did well. Like it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Remember the Harambe video?
Yes. So talk about that, because that's the kind of thing that I find is so interesting.
Yeah.
I just think it's fascinating because there's a thing that occurs on the internet where something, for whatever reason, starts to go viral. Like this Harambe story was a story with a gorilla.
Yeah. And that was even like before like the super, super viral era of like YouTube and social media. So that was like at the very early stages of it.
Right.
But yeah, I know all of that happened with the zoo. And then
something happened with the zoo. I don't even remember.
I'm not 100% like sure of the details, but basically it was going like super viral. What happened? And then someone sent in a "You Make It, We Skate It" of a red skateboard with what?
It just said Harambe.
Didn't it say Harambe in like supreme lettering?
Yes,
I think so.
I think so.
And then did you make a video with it?
I don't think only you did.
I don't think Lance wanted to.
No, I don't think so. It's
I took it.
Yeah, with something like the Harambe board, it's like, this is just a board with a Harambe. Just a literal normal skateboard. It just says Harambe.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where like if we find like some random 2x4 and we're like, hey, let's put some trucks on it. Like it's just, we're making a video to make a video. It's not like a...
No, that was a banger video back then.
No. I mean now. Now. In today's climate, like,
so much different. Before it was like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
They put trucks on a 2x4.
Yeah. So back then, Lance was kind of like, you know, let's put a little more thought into it. Like, let's not do this.
Yes.
And I was like, behind the scenes, baby.
Behind the scenes.
Let's do it.
And then I think the video is called Decks Out for Harambe.
Yeah. Which, I mean...
I think that did 1 million views or something.
That did over 1 million views.
Hold up. So. I'm just looking it up right now. Decks Out for Harambe.
But from a perspective of, you know, just like an up and coming kid who'd never had a YouTube channel like that, like what are we at?
282,000 views.
282,000 views. So we're maybe getting like 5 or 10K views a video if we're lucky back then. And then we have this video that gets, you know, maybe not 280 at that point, but like, you know, 50,000, 60,000.
But look at that thumbnail.
Hell yeah, that is good, dude.
Look at my hair. What is that? How is my face so circular? It looks like somebody painted my head on my body. I just look so weird.
That's an excellent thumbnail.
Yeah, it is. Decks Out for Harambe.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that was like the first hint of belief that we both kind of were like, okay, we might be getting somewhere with this, right?
It's always the thing that happens is something is going on the internet, and then when you do anything involved with that, your thing gets so much more attention. Yeah, and it shocks me every time.
Yeah, like the Lance Tide Pod thing.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
A horrendous idea.
Terrible idea.
Boom. Amazing.
Yeah. Viral. Why?
And that's the stuff but that's also the thing that I think we are not doing that now.
Yeah.
We're literally just not. And that's where
Yeah.
I think that, you know, that viewpoint that you were saying of like, oh, I've got 5.8 million subs. Everything should just go.
Mhm.
But no, screw that. We have to make the absolute best videos ever.
Yes.
And when we add in that little hint, it's usually the thing that's occurring on the internet is it's usually a joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're going to eat Tide Pods. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
It's definitely a joke that then turned into some crazy viral thing about Tide Pods.
Man.
And then we're making another video about it that's a joke where we're
Yeah.
skating Tide Pods on a board. Horrendous idea. Never do that. But look at the video just below that one.
Oh yeah. See, that's why the trending nowadays is hard because it is a lot of music.
Yes.
So
See,
unless we set aside a long period of production for a music video, it's very hard to do that.
Got to do that.
Or some kind of very negative thing that we don't really want to capitalize on or even just like promote because we try to stay very positive in what we do.
Yeah, well, the thing is we have like unlike some people that are just like, oh, what's the goal? To get views. And how do you get views? Controversy.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just talk all about it. Let's throw this person's dirty laundry onto the internet because people will view it. But we go, well, is that the effect we want to create? Are we really trying to like do that?
Yeah, no.
No, we're not really. We're trying to create a positive effect of more people learning how to skateboard. And it all goes back to just get into skateboarding, learn how to do it. Skateboarding, we think, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We think you will too. So we try to create that.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's controversy around things. You just can't help it.
I mean, it's also hard. Like today's YouTube algorithm is just very strict. Like we tried to capitalize on the crate challenge and do like the skate crate challenge.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The video, I think it maybe did like 100 something K, but like compared to how it would have done back in like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And
It's
then-
just a complete different, time and promotion.
Yeah, but the other thing about that crate challenge is it almost got our TikTok deleted fully.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's hard to capitalize on some of that stuff now.
Yeah.
Just because of the way social media and especially skateboarding as a dangerous activity.
I think
in
that's
the eye of
part
certain
of-
algorithms. It's
Yeah.
hard, right?
Yeah, I think that's part of what happened is it was like, this trend is dangerous and people are getting hurt doing it.
Yeah.
So anybody that makes a video doing this trend, it'll automatically get flagged.
Yeah.
And that will hurt everything.
Yeah.
So then I think almost all of skateboarding got flagged as dangerous.
Sort of, yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? This was something that was brought up to me from a different channel, one of the translated channels, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes. And then he was like,
Huh.
I literally think that just the subject of skateboarding has been flagged as dangerous in the algorithm. And who knows if that's true. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we don't make videos for the algorithm or
Yeah.
some computer program.
Yeah.
We make videos for people
Yes.
and we love to reach the people. But yeah, recently there was the Grimace one. and I made the Grimace video and boom, crazy. It just goes crazy. But that's so, I think to myself, this is so funny.
Yeah, it's also a very like TikTok shorts, YouTube shorts kind of video.
Kind of era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I get a kick out of it. I think I think it's funny.
Your video was
Epic. Supreme.
it was something else.
Maybe they're taking something else out of it that I was not. But the best comment on the video was Grimace got Aaron mall grabbing. Because I purposely was mall grabbing my board and hanging off the vert ramp. What I wanted to do in that video is I wanted to slide backwards down the vert ramp.
Oh,
And then I got up there and I realized I'm going to land on my head and die, actually. I'm not trying to actually die. I'm trying to make a funny video.
The
as if
Grimace
I
video
died.
would have gone very south very quickly if you did that.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah.
See these trends come and go. And you almost have to have laser precise seeing the trend, make the video instantly, get it up. And sometimes it's a total hit and sometimes it's a total miss. But I do think we should go music video style.
I think so. Yeah. I also think we should go towards that, like behind the scenes of like Braille and stuff like that. I think like we kind of touched on earlier, like the thing that differentiates us is our identity, and people can relate to us.
How open and chill we are to just be like, hey, we're just
like
come and skate, have fun.
If you see someone like just mentally getting destroyed by a trick and how they work through it and then prevailing and winning and their reaction, like that is like very important. And I think that relation between us and our audience is like one of the most important things we have.
Right.
So I think we should go back to that for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Leave it in the comments below. What's up, everybody? Let me take just a minute to ask you, have you ever wanted to start a podcast, but you don't know how to get started when it comes to recording, editing, and mixing your audio? Well, Tom Kelly, the producer of this very podcast, has an amazing course that will walk you through everything you need to know to make a great sounding podcast. Literally every step we take to make a Braille Drop podcast is included in this course. From buying equipment on any budget, setting up a room in your house for recording, how to interview a guest who lives across the country, and how to edit and mix the recordings into a killer sounding podcast. The best part, the course costs less than $20 and goes as low as $10 when it's on sale. Go to thebrailledrop.com/audio to watch the trailer and check out all that the course has to offer. Doing so really helps the podcast out. That's brailledrop.com/audio. All right, back to the episode.
So yeah, there's the evolution of Braille Army. And where we started with that. And then I know we did, we did a few bangers back in the day.
Yeah, the banger that I remember is when we got the warehouse.
Oh, that's where we were going with the competition between me and Lance.
When we first, that was going for a long time, always.
I would not let you have that video.
No. So I even forgot what happened. I think we made a video announcing the new warehouse. There was some kind of mistake that Lance made, I think, with his scheduling, and he didn't put the video up. So the video announcing the warehouse first went up on Braille Army, and it just caught wildfire.
We planned to go at the same day, though, right?
Yes.
That was the initial plan.
And then main Braille didn't go up. Braille Army did, and then I think it did like
$500,000 at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say $800K or something. Yeah. Which is always so funny. You know, it's exciting. There's also something exciting about you have this idea, you think people are going to like it. Yeah. You have some preparation for it. Yeah. And then you make the video. Mm-hmm. And then when it really works, there's no feeling like it. Yeah.
And I think the very cool dynamic too was as with Braille Army as like the brother sister channel, whatever. Yeah. It's like when a video did well, it was like, it's just a win for everyone.
Everyone. Right? Yeah.
Like everyone involved, and you know, whoever filmed it, edited it, whoever's in it, it's good.
Right.
Like, it's just a positive thing.
Yeah. It's just a cool, exciting thing. But now sometimes, man, after making 5,000 videos, now we come in and we go, all right, guys, let's make a really cool, exciting video. Yeah. And then sometimes we run into like, I don't even think we can anymore. I think the channel's dead.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think we're just getting old. I mean, shoot, man.
Are we getting old?
I was 15 when I met you. I'm 25. You were, that was 10 years ago. So you were 29, 39, going on 40. Like,
no, I'm not getting old. I'm getting more excited. I feel like I'm just getting started in this whole thing. Yeah. In fact, I feel like everything has been leading up to like this crescendo of like, now we've worked out all these things and worked out better ways to teach skateboarding actually. Yeah. I feel like right now we're in the best position we've ever been in to actually do those things that I intended to do 10 plus years ago. Yeah. And now I just have to execute on them perfectly.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? Like the way I kind of see it is when you were working with Lance, you guys were very, very close.
Yes.
Had like a very similar kind of like mental way of how you worked and what you thought of the videos.
Yes.
And I think...
Which is mostly me beating it into Lance.
Yes. I think when
Not physically, just mentally.
Emotionally.
Emotionally, yeah.
But no, I think it was like when he left, it did take a really long time. Granted, from 2017 to 2020, it was like a way different time and videos were easier to come by. But
Yes.
I personally, like sitting across from this table right now, look at you as like a very close friend, closer than we've ever been now.
Yeah.
And I think like back in the day, it was kind of just like me just spitballing it a little bit. Like I
Yes.
knew what I was doing, but I didn't really have like a full understanding and kind of look to you more as like, what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I think we're finally on kind of like the page of like, let's discuss this and let's figure out what this is. Cause we finally can understand like together what we're both thinking combined. You know, if you have a viewpoint that I differ on, vice versa, we can intellectually figure that out and make it work in a much more successful way than anything I was providing in 2017. Not to belittle my work back then, but I just think the relationship
your work
is
back
better.
then was mind-blowingly. Yeah, you've more just moved into the position that Lance was in.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's so funny about Lance and I
Mm-hmm.
is we always had differing viewpoints.
Yeah.
It's funny when people would say like, "Oh, you guys work so well together, your banter." Even our banter
Yeah.
was like he was just fast and witty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're even more fast and witty though. You like grew up in the era of like
Yeah.
let's figure out all the like puns. Like
Yeah.
you'll say puns and I'll just be like blank. And I'll just go, I don't know.
I'm not too shabby at it.
No, you're great at it. But what's funny about Lance and I is we would, I remember driving to LA with Lance.
Mm-hmm.
It would be me and Lance alone in the car for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And we would just get into the most heated debates.
Oh man.
The most funniest conversations of like just funny things that we would talk about, but it would be all YouTube channel related and like, and it's funny to even think about some of those conversations because it would be like, man, I don't even remember what the views were like back then, maybe like 500,000 views a month. And we'd be like, whoa, what if we would to do 1 million views in a month? And we'd be like, that would be insane.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves doing 65 million views a month. And we're like, almost like, what even happened?
How do you
even explain this?
Yeah.
But what I think is so funny is the, not arguments, but the debates. And then I would be like, no, we just need to teach skateboarding better and do that more. And he'd be like, no, we need to make viral videos and we need to entertain.
Yeah.
And looking back, the funny thing about it is neither of us were wrong.
Yeah.
We were both right.
Mm-hmm.
And it just put this like kind of very interesting like play.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but there's a book that Lance read that changed everything for him.
I don't know.
I'll give you the book. I have it at my house.
Okay.
And he read that book and then he goes like, okay, I understand YouTube now.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some viral videos. And I'll be damned if he didn't.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
He did.
And this is the same thing that we can do now. I mean, it's just like, if you really understand, I don't know, the mechanics behind it. It's the same thing we're talking about. We get this Lego board, but you have to set up the scenario.
Yes.
And it has to be filmed a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I think also a lot of this is changing as YouTube changes.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it would be a lot of like, there was this reference in that book where it's just a still shot. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like setting up, I think like a Coca-Cola symphony of Mentos shooting. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, the video does like 30 million views or something.
I know which one.
Yeah. And they're making the point that like, look, it was low production value. Mm-hmm. Just one single camera, not like a bunch of, not highly edited, but it's you're putting forth a scenario that is kind of a real scenario that could occur. But now you have, the Mr. Beast era of YouTube, which is like, we're going to buy a plane for $500,000 and crash it. That's not that's a little bit of a different scenario.
Yeah.
And it's really also mathematically like how they do their cuts and everything. But I think we have like a certain thing that we do, and we just got to do that better than we've ever done it before.
Yeah. And I think I feel like there was an era of like deniability where we were kind of like fixed on how things were and how we did things in the past.
Yes.
And we were very insistent on making sure that never changed.
Yes.
And I think from like maybe COVID to now, we're finally at the point where we're like, okay, yeah, this is changing and we need to finally do something, right?
Yeah, the world is changing.
Yeah.
You know, shorts came out, YouTube launches YouTube shorts, TikTok happened, and there's a lot of change from long form video to short form video.
Yeah.
And so people understand when you're running a business financially, the long form videos pay bills and the short form videos don't.
Yeah.
Just to make a long story short.
Yeah.
You can get billions upon billions of views and you're still not making your rent on short form.
Yeah.
On long form, you will make your rent.
Yes.
But it's interesting when the watching patterns, and then I start, you know what, I think about some of the videos. I go, this is a great short.
Yeah, I know. They really.
I go, we could just make the absolute, just the crescendo of this video could be a 15-second short.
Yeah.
In and out, and almost tell the whole story.
That's the beauty and the terror of our position is how do we make, potentially 15 to 30 second YouTube short into a 15 to 20 minute, very entertaining, high retention video.
Yeah. And then you ask some audience members and they say, you know what you guys need is some 40-minute street skating vlogs. That's the answer I was getting.
Really?
Yes. Huh. I was like, 40 minutes? I'm trying to keep somebody's attention for 6 seconds on TikTok, let alone 40 minutes. Man. So now we have coming up the All Terrain Tour at 55 minutes long. And that was a huge production. But this is like big production value, different cycle.
I'm curious about the response on this.
Me too. It could do 20,000 views. Yeah. It could do 1 million.
I have predictions. I don't think it's going to do well initially at all.
And then?
I think it will pick up and end up somewhere around like the 150,000 view mark.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to be right around like 20 or 30K for the first maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah. And the editor will be devastated.
Yes.
Gene, shout out Gene on your great job on editing
Gene is
the All Terrain Tour. So I have no idea what to expect there. I literally go, well, it could be like total bomb or it could do fantastic.
Yeah. But then with saying that from a content perspective, I watched the first 10 minutes by myself and I think 45 seconds into the video, I was like, I think I'm going to cry. Right? It was really meaningful, good, just hearty content. Which when you're just doing it every day, it's hard to do.
Yes. Sometimes it's hard to find that meaning behind it and put that.
So even with what I just said and what I predicted, what I also know is that people are going to resonate with this video probably more than any video we've posted in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
I think.
Man, I hope so, because that's where it goes when it hits the emotional feels, then people are like, whoa, this made me feel something. Yeah. I feel like that's where we're at in this day and
100%.
I watched this video. It made me feel something.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm comment, share, everybody, boom.
Yeah. I mean, there are just genuine laughs and just good vibes in that video. Man, when Nigel's driving the RV and I reach over and grab his hand, he looks at the camera and goes, ah! I legit was I was laughing pretty hard. Because we're kind of far out at this point, but you just don't even remember doing some of that stuff. And that's what made that tour and just some of the stuff you do. When someone comes up to you hey, you remember this video? I'm like, I do remember that video. That was a pleasure, right?
Yeah. And it's so wild to even think about it. And even skating with everybody. And, sometimes people have whatever upsets that they have and various things like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have had probably some of the best times with each other making these videos that is unbelievable experience. Yeah. And I think that tour was something that was just really special, magical time period.
Yeah. I will never look at another national park the same way again after Yellowstone, man.
Yeah. Or see one of those cruising America RVs and not think about.
Exactly. Yeah. I was driving to my grandparents, which is about 2.5 hour drive. And then I had my lady in the seat next to me and my parents in the back seat. And we drove past the RV campsite. And then I was like, you know what, family? You never realize how many damn RV campsites there are until you go on an all-terrain tour for 12 days. They're like, really? I'm like, they are everywhere. Yeah. And they're $20 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you never appreciate what sleep is like. No.
Yep. I mean, I can't really relate. I was sleeping like an angel on that tour.
Yeah, so was I. Outside. under the stars in the fresh air. Gabe Cruz is inside the whole time.
You know, I had a little window next to where I was sleeping in the RV, so I kept it open every night so I could hear for your screams if a bear were to attack.
Yeah, these guys, Gabe and Uzi, were so scared that there was going to be a bear that Gabe was not even just in the RV at the highest level bed above. Like a bear could have gotten in there and killed everybody, would have never found Gabe.
I had multiple lines of defense.
Yeah, you did.
I had Nigel and Glow were the first lines of defense.
Yeah.
And then I was up. And then
Nigel, a literal army vet with a real gun, mini real guns. And then Gabe's on the top.
Here I am sleeping with my little pocket axe and bear spray next to me every single night. Hey, you know, I was a born in the Bay, raised in the Bay.
Yeah, you were.
Never liked camping.
And then I'm outside with nothing but a cell phone. Probably a dead battery on the cell phone as well. I don't even have a flashlight.
In Yellowstone, you did borrow the bear spray though. I let it go for that.
Yeah, dude. Yellowstone.
I could have saved your life if a bear attacked.
Yeah, you could have. And I won't lie. There was definitely a time when I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, you hear that? That's a bear.
See, I would have been.
No, but the funny thing was and Uzi was like, for sure, we're getting attacked.
Yeah.
And then we did everything we could to find a bear and we couldn't find the bear. We spent it was a day and a half, which when you're on a road trip, a day and a half is an eternity.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find a bear. And then on our way driving out of Yellowstone, we randomly see a bear.
We didn't even see it. It was Nigel just with the eagle eye driving and we're all knocked out. And he's like, bear!
Well, everybody else was pissed. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Yellowstone. I love camping.
Yeah.
And at that morning, I remember being like, I hate Yellowstone. I never want to come back here. It sucks. I came here to see a bear and show my friends some wildlife and see a bear, and we didn't. But no, shout out Yellowstone. So incredible.
Bear made it worth it, for sure.
Yeah, and just remember like the huge waterfall. Yellowstone's a different world.
My memory is you guys wanting to go swim. And then park ranger who recognizes us comes up and he's like, hey, you guys can't swim here. And we're like, why? He's like, because there's a waterfall 50 feet that way. And then literally there's a sign that says there's a waterfall. I'm like, bro, we are the dumbest idiots.
And then he goes like this, but I love Braille skateboarding. You guys are so sick, da da da. And then Nigel goes, so could you just let us swim here? No, Nigel, what he's trying to explain is we don't even want to swim there. Now our lives are in danger.
Oh,
and then he goes, no, just go a little ways up there and swim.
Yep.
And then we do. And when you see the all-terrain tour, that's the shot of me dancing,
which was cut short from the beauty of a shot that you'll never be able to see.
No, you don't want to see that. Basically, I'm spraying the sun lotion in a funny way.
Oh man.
No, it's cut in there halfway.
Okay.
But yeah, so fun. And then you end up getting sponsored, going back to your life story. Yep. And then you end up getting on Revive Skateboards.
I do. I get on Revive Flow. I remember it was just, I think one random morning I was getting ready for, I don't know if it was even school or work or something, because I was still going to college at that point. But Andy and Brian both texted me in a group conversation. And then they did a cool thing where they alternated their texts and had like a thing scripted out and then asked me if I wanted to be on Flow. And I was like, wow.
Whoa.
I was like,
what did they do? Like Brian said, hey. And then Andy said, Gabe.
Yeah.
And then Brian said, do. And then Andy said, you.
It was kind of like, hey. Then someone else said, Gabe. And then it was like, do you want to? And then like be on Revive Flow. I probably.
Oh, you probably cried.
I think I have the message too still saved up. Literally in my home office, the first Revive package I ever ordered while I was working with you.
Yeah.
I wrote a little note that said, hey, Andy, I'm working with Aaron now. Love everything you do. Like, thanks for everything.
Yeah.
And then he sent me some extra stickers and then wrote a note like, Gabe, like super stoked on you. Or I can't remember exactly what he wrote, but I have that packing slip hung in my office to this day. Just to, just remember, just like, dude, it literally just like dreams were just made somehow, and it all worked out. So when it was finally like, hey, do you want to be on Revive Flow? I was like, this is, at the time, I think I was like, this might be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about Revive and what Andy does
Yeah.
is it's just like, here's a group of skaters, we're just friends and we're just hanging out. It's not about being the best skateboarder. It's literal not. And then it's just like, here's boards.
Yeah.
And that stokes people out. And I don't know what else to say other than like, I feel like that is something that does help the growth of skateboarding.
Yeah. I think it's skating. To differentiate it in any way, I think does a disservice to what skateboarding is.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, skateboarding is in the eye of the beholder. Whatever you want it to be, it will be.
Right.
But to a whopping portion of people, myself being one of those people, being in a group of friends where you just progress together and are very close and are brothers, that's what skateboarding is to me.
Yeah.
I almost cannot skate alone at all anymore. Like, I can't just go and have a session.
Yeah.
I'll hit up my friend to come over or skate with you or something like that. But
Yeah.
I can't skate by myself. It's just not something that I was ever raised doing.
Yes.
It's very interesting to look back, but like you explain it in this retrospective way where, you've been doing this for so long, almost 10 years and you're, it's part of your life. But the way that I experienced it back then in those moments from, watching those first videos to landing my first varial flip and kickflip, tray flip, being on that live skate sport, and then working with you, like making that first graphic, I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this is happening right now. And then meeting you at the spot, you gave me a board that you skated, signed it, still have that board. Still in the collection.
Yeah, see, we got to make a video about that. It's like the Gabe Cruz origin story, but you have all these.
I have everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm sure I have videos on my mom's phone of
That's
stuff.
a good video.
Yeah.
It like really hits the feels.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I know I worked with you a little longer, and then you took me to Cincinnati with you to go meet all those guys. And that was like, holy crap, what is going on? And then I think it was Sam Tabor's 21st that first time I went out. So I couldn't even go to the casino with you guys. Yeah. Everyone went out. And then I remember Black Ninja showing up, and he knocks on the door, kicks the door open, and like tackles me across the room. And I'm just like,
what is happening here?
I'm like, what is going on? But at the same time, I'm like these are just my homies now. Like, this is just something like, Steve's just like that.
Yes. Shut up, Black Ninja.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been like a very interesting, like surreal experience, kind of like being that kid and literally growing up with you guys. Like you've raised me in like a very different way. And I think now that I'm older, it's, we're more, very close friends and our relationship has shifted, but just there's no way to fully quantify that in terms of like how I've grown into who I am today and how important it is to me. Yeah. So from that, without me getting emotional, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to say thank you.
You're welcome. And now we got to figure out how we take what we built here and pass that on to the next, like who's the next like kid with the skate support that's going to teleport in.
I'm not the world's greatest skater, as anyone who watches me knows. Like, it can be them, right? Like, it happened to me. I happen to be some hyper analytical, I need to plan everything and make sure this happens kind of way. But if anyone can do it if you try hard enough. And I think that's a very important message to send. Yeah. And I hope that telling my story kind of can get people inspired to go out of their way and try to, make something happen.
And go for it. Like, no matter what it was.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important message to send, whether it's skateboarding related or not.
Yeah.
Like, you got a dream, you want to be an animator for Pixar. Yeah. Like, give it everything you got.
Exactly.
Which takes me to the most controversial subject that we have here tonight.
Here we go.
Do you know what it is?
I think so, because I was going to go there too.
What?
You go. Let me see.
You go.
Let me see. I thought you were going to bring up the vert ramp.
I was definitely going to bring up the vert ramp. Okay. So you made it this far into the podcast. Shout out to you.
I thought I was going to get off.
You're a good couple hours in. But okay, I think that's interesting because now there's certain... okay. I have a lot of viewpoints towards, not the vert ramp thing specifically, but now I'm thinking about when you're grow up, you're just a skater, nobody knows you, none of that ever matters, doesn't even think about it. And now all of a sudden you're on this YouTube channel and people recognize you on the street. It's sort of this thing, and people start getting these expectations.
Yeah.
And there starts to be some comments and some like even almost kind of nasty comments sometimes.
They're
like
nasty.
I saw one the other day that was like, these guys suck at skateboarding or something like that.
Yeah.
And then somebody was in our defense saying like, I mean, they're not trying to be the world's best skaters, which is the whole point of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're trying to provide a platform where you don't have to be the world's best skater.
Yeah. I remember back one of the earliest videos I filmed with you guys at the old spot. I'll never forget. One of the earliest comments I read was that they hope I do a kickflip into the middle of the road and get hit by a pickup truck.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I want to ask you about that because I remember back then, I remember going to Togo's with you, and I remember you were so stressed out because the YouTube comments. And I told you, don't read them.
Yeah.
They literally don't matter.
Yeah.
And now when I say that, I want to be very specific because they do matter. Like, people's opinions matter. Everyone that watches one of our videos and comments something matters. But when somebody gets on a video and comments a racial slur about one person who's in the video, which was happening.
Yes, it happened multiple times.
Multiple times people would say racial slurs about Gabe. And I was like, whoa, what are we doing? But that's why it's so important for us to keep pushing forward and just make skateboarding this place. Especially when it gets into this thing of like, I'm a skater and I'm better than you and I'm cooler than you. So I will now hate you and make less and degrade you and think that that's not only okay, but think that that's cool. Like, whoa, we got to like, that's why I think it's important what we do of just open it up to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's a question in there. I just wanted to point that out.
No, it is a really great point. And well, I think it's kind of important in the podcast to kind of go into a little depth about like me and like, you know, if you want to talk about me, it's fine. It's very likely I either won't read it, or if I do, you did teach me very early on to just not worry about anything.
Do you? And do you not worry about it?
Not anymore.
So you actually like
the vert ramp comments were pissing me off for a little while. No, I'm not gonna lie, they were getting kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But then I did get to a point where I'm like, it's fine, like whatever.
Yeah. See, I have the exact same scenario of Gabe's vert ramp. Do you remember what it was?
Was it the heel flip to 5?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It was.
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I was gonna say the difference is that's in your ability. But I know I can drop it. I know I can. It's almost like I'm just being stubborn at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for excuses, and I'm telling myself it doesn't matter when I know it does.
Yeah.
And I know when I do it, I'll be stoked. And I already have a plan on how it's gonna happen and how I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna divulge it here because I think it's my anonymity and secret is very important.
Yeah.
But yeah, from that perspective, I feel like that the comments have always kind of gone at me a little hard since the beginning.
100%.
They've always gone at me.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that like it was freaking me out when especially I was younger.
Yes.
It's hard to deal with that kind of, spotlight when you're just a, sophomore in high school.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, being a YouTuber is so cool and everything about it is so great. I think that the actual like trolls and hatred that you get sometimes will rip every piece of what you thought was cool about it out of your willingness.
Dude, it's soul crushing when you spend a lot of time on a passion project or something like that just to see it not do well, to see that dreaded 10 out of 10.
Yeah, when he says 10 out of 10, when you post a video, YouTube will tell you this video is performing better than your last 10 videos, which would be a 1 out of 10, and all the way down to 10 out of 10, which this video is worse than your last 10 videos. And then not that it has to, that's where you have to go, like, it's not about the numbers. It's not about the amount of likes. Some of these social media gurus are like, make a video, but don't make it for yourself.
Yeah.
But even worse than, like, even going further than that is like, maybe it's a 10 out of 10, but then you see the comments and they're just fully coming at you.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Like, what advice can you give people? I have a lot to say about it, but I want to hear what you think.
Well, I think just the way I kind of handled it is just really just don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
And you know, you just got to kind of keep a level head, and what I do is just kind of really understand like where I am. Like my skateboarding goals are very, very different. Like, as you know, you wanted to be like do the NBDs, like super core Hesh kid. And I'm just kind of like, I just want to learn a lot of tricks and have fun, but you know,
and beat everybody in a game of skate.
Beat people in games of skate. Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's your main goal.
That's fun to me.
Yeah. Because
Like,
you're competitive.
Cool. Yeah.
And not that there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's cool too.
Yeah, but then like, you know, you go into that point. Like I played so many games of skate with Chris, but he also taught me so many tricks that I never had consistent.
Right.
And that I also think is really fun about it. So
yeah,
I think just knowing who you are and knowing what your values are, and then just being so stern and so like just powerful and repeating those values to yourself over and over again.
Yeah.
That what someone else says doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And not from like a, hey, we want your opinion on like this YouTube video.
Yes.
What do you want to see?
That is
like
a completely different scenario.
Different. But
yeah, like somebody spouting racial slurs at you is very different than like, yes, let's make a video that has a little less screaming.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I've always kind of told myself like, here's what you value. Here's, you know, what you can do with what you do. And then just kind of like my position, like no matter what people see in the YouTube videos, no one will ever know fully who I am or what I contribute behind the scenes too.
Yes.
And that I think is kind of like the very powerful thing for me. Like no one knows the countless hours that we've all put into this behind the scenes.
Right.
How many thumbnails we've had to make, and how many, videos we've had to edit and upload and just
make it on time and make the deadlines. I mean, literally this morning, today, I'm doing this podcast and I have a guy named Tom Kelly. Shout out Tom Kelly. Mm-hmm. He's producing the podcast. And he said, how many times have you missed a day? You missed your daily upload. And I said, bro, never. And he was like, no way. And I was like, yeah, literally never. Have we missed one? Maybe there was a day I don't remember. If there was, it's totally fine.
No, I can only, since Lance left, I think there's only been 2 instances of a video going up late.
That's what I said. Yeah. We've had a couple late, but I don't know if we've had a missed day.
I don't think I'd let that happen.
So, yeah, which is kind of just an interesting point in itself. And it's kind of to what you were saying earlier of almost like we almost get stuck in this like earlier, the way we were doing it. Back in the day, if you were doing a daily YouTube video is the best way to grow your channel. Yeah. In 2023, I think doing a daily YouTube video is the worst way to grow your channel. Yeah. Here we go. Here we're going daily. Yeah. So this morning we wake up and there's no video edited for the day. We have videos edited for Braille Army. So Gabe comes up with the solution. I'm going to take this Braille Army video of Nigel's hardest fall, and I'm going to upload that today, and we'll get the other videos edited.
I got a funny story about that too.
Yeah.
Is I text Nigel because, sometimes he's a little outspoken with certain things. Yeah. So especially if he's involved, I'll give him a heads up every once in a while. So I texted him and I said, hey, we had a problem with the video. I'm putting up your nollie heel down the 5 stair. I'm calling it Nigel's hardest slam. And he said, you guys are the worst. I texted him and I said, it's me. I'm the worst. And he just texted me cracking up laughing. But I mean, hey, we do what we got to do.
But he's joking because he knows we're the best.
Yeah. No, he was totally joking in that way. Yeah. But like, if you've known Nigel, like, that's just how he is. He's always talking mess.
But that's also a funny thing. Man, we could just go on tangents for hours hours. Literal hours. But the funny thing about it is sometimes people in the videos will be like, Nigel hates Gabe. No. And I'll be like, Nigel and Gabe are probably the best friends of anybody on the team.
I said it in my all-terrain interview. I trust you and Nigel with my life.
Yeah, but in the video, you can't tell who it is.
No.
Because you don't know who you're talking to. You just say you.
Aaron, yeah. I guess you can't tell it's Nigel.
And Aaron.
Huh? Yeah.
You would have to have been there to know it's Nigel.
Yeah. No, Nigel's one of my closest friends, and the relationship we have is very interesting because it can boil over sometimes because we're 2 very passionate and powerful personalities.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do not get along, and it'll just blow up.
And they'll get into a fight about an Elden Ring boss, and I'll be like, you guys are both silly.
And then I'll text him 30 minutes later, and I'll be like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And he'll text me, and he goes, you know what? You look good as hell that whole time we were arguing. And I'm like, we're fine.
And it always is fine. And it's funny. But sometimes in the video, people will be like, whoa, there's a lot of tension.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but even that's kind of a funny thing about the videos. Sometimes I look at it like we're almost like actors in a way.
Yes. I was thinking that. I didn't know how to word it, though. So I'm kind of glad you said that.
Yeah. Like we show up, like it doesn't, like I am at home and maybe my dog pooped on the floor and my wife is mad at me because the dog pooped on the floor because I should have taken the dog out earlier and walked him.
Yeah.
It's always speaking of the devil, my wife's calling me right now. It's always my fault, which is part of being married.
That's true.
That's part of what you learn to live with.
Yep. That's next topic we're going to go into is Gabe Cruz getting married. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Gabe Cruz's marriage. Shout out, Jules. And so I might be on my way to the warehouse in like a terrible mood. Yeah. Like my wife is just yelling at me, whatever. I'm not feeling great. And then I show up here and then I just go like just everything that's occurring in life out, skateboarding in. Yeah. Like throw me the box. All right, guys, we're super excited because today we got this You Make It, We Skate It.
Yeah. It's a good escape.
Yeah, it is a good escape. And I feel like it's good to also have an escape from that.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
Elden Ring all day.
Elden Ring. Sometimes it's spending time with the lady.
Yeah.
My wife, I interviewed her on the podcast. So hilarious. She could care less about skateboarding. Yeah. You know, when I first started dating her, I had all these I was sponsored and I was like, yeah, check out my video. I get free shoes. And she was just like, who is this guy? Like, who cares? Yeah. She doesn't care at all. Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's like a good escape, you know? So, okay. So we just gotta, before we end this, we gotta talk about the vert ramp. Yes. So I'm going to tell you my viewpoint and then I'm interested to hear yours.
I'm ready.
I think, and this is where I was going with this earlier thing, the audience has certain expectations about you, about all of us, really. Yeah. Whether those are real or founded or unfounded or whatever. And they just want something to occur and they're just going to push it into making it occur. But what's funny about that is I feel like if the audience wasn't pushing you, you would want to do it on yourself. And I feel like you already would have done it. But now the audience is pushing so hard that you're like, how do I almost defend myself in this scenario?
Well, that's kind of why I said I'm being stubborn.
Yeah.
I'll preface anything I say with dropping in on a vert ramp, I think is by far the scariest thing for me on a skateboard.
And I will say it is so unbelievably scary.
Like kickflip the 5-stair, you could skate the 3-stair enough, you could skate the 5-stair enough, you can go to some 4-stairs, you can warm up to it.
Yes.
It's very hard to warm up to a vert ramp.
I can throw the contrary statement, though. You can drop in on all the big ones.
We don't have a good intermedial step from 6 foot to vert.
We should build it.
We need it. That's why I wanted the 8-foot one that Danny built, but all he did was put 2 feet of vert on the 6-foot ramp, and it is not the same, Aaron.
That is a big part of why he built that. And I got a funny story.
Yeah, he literally built that because I asked him to. I wanted.
Okay, I got to tell this story. So we have security cameras here, and Danny builds this ramp, and then he's like, Gabe's texting me or calling me, how's the 8-foot ramp? And I'm like, oh yeah, bro, it's good. But he logs into the security camera and he hears me say, this thing is way scarier than the vert ramp. And it's true, it is. The vert ramp is 10 feet tall, has beautiful transition. This one is 8 feet tall, more vert than the vert ramp. Yeah. It almost goes straight into the ground. Yeah. But I've worked with people on dropping in the vert ramp and they drop in there totally fine.
Hell no.
They do
that one's scary. No, for people, that to me, the 8-foot is scarier than the vert ramp.
100%.
Yeah, that thing. So I mean,
but you could do that. I feel like you could get over your fear and drop in on that, and then drop in on vert.
I tell Uzi all the time. He tells me that. I tell him I'd rather just go to the vert. No, I'm dead serious. But if there was maybe 6 foot, and then maybe an 8-foot one with an inch of vert or something.
Yeah.
and then like a little bit of vert on like a 9 or something like that. Like
Yes.
maybe Woodward, Pennsylvania will be a good place to like
Yes.
warm up to it. But
the funny thing even before then is the idea of if you want to even do it. Because if you don't want to do it,
I do.
It doesn't matter what anybody else is going to say
Yeah,
because you'll never do it.
Yeah, I do. I think the very interesting like relationship I have with the commenters and myself is that nothing that they tell me to critique my skating, I probably haven't already told myself.
Right.
I'm like my biggest, trash talker. I talk down on myself when I'm not landing a trick I should land. Like we all are our worst enemies when we're skating.
We all do
right?
that. And let's make an important point there that we all need to be our own best fans.
Yes.
We all need to tell ourselves, damn, you look good today.
Yeah.
Damn, your skateboarding is good.
Yeah.
Damn, that kickflip was good. You need to love yourself. You need to feel good about yourself, even when you're feeling terrible, especially when you're feeling terrible.
Yeah.
You should be trying to bring yourself up.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The vert ramp is powerful.
It is.
It would be huge. But yeah, I think I'm at the point where I've convinced myself I don't care about it, even though I know I do. So you are right about that.
Yeah.
But at this point, the comments aren't really a driving force in that.
Yeah.
If I did sense I was going to like do it, I think I would hype it up a little bit more and then let the comments go crazy. So then the video does better.
Yeah.
But that's just my how can we make a better video
that's just
right?
kind of the funny thing of like, how do we create this like storm of like interesting, that's kind of what social media, it's just an interesting world.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when I look at you and tell you I could do it, I could. But when I also say I'm absolutely scared out of my mind and there's just a bunch of factors in my brain about like, oh, I need to lose a few pounds first. I feel like I'm not in good enough shape.
Yes.
I need to be more comfortable on my board.
Yeah.
I'm going to get comfortable in the vert ramp again, which, I mean, I was pumping the other day. Still pretty comfortable.
Extremely comfortable. Like, yeah. So the other day when I dropped in on the roll-in, that was my like drop in on vert for you. I was beyond terrified.
Yeah.
And then I dropped in and slammed, which I never will fall on a drop in.
Yeah.
And then JD was like, I didn't think you were going to do it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But for me, I'm just like, if I decide to do something, I'm going to do it, even if I break both of my legs.
Yeah.
I already made the decision to do it. And I feel like your decision to do something is actually more important than the physical health of your body. I'm dead serious. Because you could say, I decided to drop in, and then you didn't.
Yeah.
And now you're belittling yourself, your own emotional, your own emotional well-being is harmed.
That's the point where I'm at.
I'd rather hurt my body than harm that.
Yeah, because there was a time where we were really into it, and I was good, and I should have done it back then, and I regret not.
Yeah.
Because now getting back into it is so hard.
But I think that, so you are building your own mental walls, your own mental barriers.
Yeah.
Because of that. But I think, like, if I were in your shoes and I was going to do it, I would, you have these things like, oh, I'm going to lose a little weight. I need to feel more comfortable. I would really build up to it and really plan it out and be smart.
Yeah.
You're wearing a helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, but you need to be like, every day I'm skating.
Yeah.
Like I would go onto like a regimen.
Oh, that's tough.
Work out, eat right, and skate every day, and then build up to it. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an exciting, fun thing to go. I would love to film that process.
Yeah.
To show other
30-day weight loss and then journey to drop in at the same time.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to lose any weight, and it has nothing to do with it. No, I just think if that mentally makes you feel better, it will lessen the mental wall that you've established.
Yeah.
That's why I think those videos are interesting. Like Aaron front board the rail. I know I can front. That was a prime example.
Yeah, that was
I would have went to the hospital before I didn't before I didn't land that trick.
Yeah, you're right.
And sometimes I go like, I'm probably going to the hospital.
Yeah.
But every time I've said that, I never get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, the only time you actually go to the hospital is when I make you do something stupid like ride a electric unicycle up a bank.
But that's an interesting point too, because that's when it actually happens. Is it's something you're not expecting. Like when I broke my foot in two places, I was doing a tray flip off a curb.
Yeah.
And I had just skated for probably 10 hours, landed 250 tricks that were good.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing a just random nothing trick. So I have the rule that I don't skate when I'm tired or hungry.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something that you know is scary,
Yeah.
you have that thing that Ricky calls a healthy fear.
Yes.
Because you know it's scary. So
Yeah.
you're taking all the precautions.
Yeah.
That's when I just go like, I can guarantee you 100,000,000% you will not get hurt on vert, dropping on vert.
Yeah.
Because you already know it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But you'll get hurt
But
doing a kickflip on flat
Yeah.
randomly.
I knew it was dangerous back then, though.
Yeah.
When we first built the vert ramp.
Yes.
Now it's built up to this like monumental danger. Like if I do this, I might die.
I know, which is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's a 100% completely created mental thing.
Yeah.
But some people have that same viewpoint towards landing a kickflip on flat.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's fascinating. And then you see somebody like JD just doing 540s effortlessly.
Just got to threaten to fire me or something.
No, I
actually
don't
get any
even
ideas,
think
though.
so. I think if you want to do it, you'll do it. And if you don't, you won't. And
Yeah.
it's not even like,
Well, then that's where it gets confusing, though, because I do want to do it, but then when I get up there, I can't get myself to do it. So where's the disconnect here is what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you. You ready? This is my viewpoint, of course. The same thing with me on the roll in. I know I can roll in. I'm physically able to do this roll in.
Yeah.
But when I got up there, literally couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times when I was like, I'm just going to slam, screw it. And I would push myself forward. Then I would just stop.
Yeah.
And I would say it's almost like an involuntary response. But you just have to go like, none of that matters. You're just going. So you would have to be like, I'm skating enough. This is what I tell people, like, drop in on all these ramps, you're skating around, and then you go up there, zero thinking. Because the second you start thinking, you're getting all of the negative, you can't do it, you're going to get hurt, this, that, the other thing. You have to shut that off.
I know. I wish I could just like shut off my eyes sometimes because
Yes.
you get up there and you look down and you're like, the thoughts aren't going. The thoughts, like any time that I've been close to doing it, it's been in a flow state.
Yes.
Where I'm walking, I tap the sticker. You know how you have to do it.
Yes.
I'm walking up the stairs.
Lucky
I'm
sticker
like,
tap.
I'm going to drop in right now.
Yeah.
And then you get up there and my eyes see it. And that's when I'm like, it's all downhill from there. Give up. We're done. Take the pads off.
Yeah. And I love, so the actual like enemy is the fear, the terror that goes through you.
Yeah.
And every person that ever picks up a skateboarder does on any level. For some people, dropping in on the quarter pipe is that same thing.
Yeah.
You know, watching Derek completely terrified, this little ramp, and we think, oh, it's so funny, but we've done it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
That's like his vert ramp for you.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting thing to capture even in the video, if you ever did make it and we do make it, is it's how did you overcome that barrier?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing a little thinking. I think the real reason I don't do it is because I might just become a full vert skater at that point. I know, just
Imagine you drop in and you just do a McTwist on the next wall.
I mean, dude, I don't say, I don't even know how to say it, but
Yeah.
if I were to drop in and get really comfortable on my vert ramp, I don't doubt my ability to do some of the tricks that you were doing.
100% you could.
Tail stall,
That's
definitely
the thing.
doable.
That's the thing that I
Rock
think is cool.
fakie,
Why
I
we do
think.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my, rock fakie.
But that's all stuff that's in the transition.
And it's in the transition. So he's saying the difference between standing on the deck and then going down.
Yeah.
I think another interesting point that I do want to make is when Gabe is filming the videos and he tells somebody, hey, do that trick.
Yes, dude. That's so. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can keep going. I don't want to cut you
No,
off.
you go. I want to hear what you have to say. And then I'll say my piece
Yeah.
about
I
it.
mean, you do see some people who are like, Gabe, you're just the filmer behind the camera. You can't do any of these tricks. Why do you have any right to tell someone, you know, like Aaron or Uzi or Nigel how to do a trick? And
Yeah. Or even to do the
or
trick.
to do it, right?
Yeah.
And
Because a lot of people will say, if you don't, you're telling Aaron to tray double flip, but you drop in on vert.
yeah, and in the respect of telling them to do it, that's just from years of knowing what makes a good YouTube video and what people want to see.
Yeah. And
then,
I'll even spin a different perspective than that, but go ahead.
Well, go ahead and spin that perspective because I'm going to go somewhere else too.
I think it's interesting because Gabe can be like, Aaron, kickflip the 5.
Oh, I see.
Aaron, do this trick.
I see where you're going.
And it's not that Gabe is saying like, I don't think you can, or I'm daring you, or something like that. Yeah. He's like, I'm your friend and I'm supporting you. And even if it's a trick that I can't do or a trick that is scary for me, front board the rail, 50-50 the rail.
Yeah.
I know that Gabe has the belief in me to do it. And he trusts that I can do it. And he's pushing me forward through my mental barriers. And that's what friends are for. Yeah. You push them to another level.
Especially during Braille Army filming. I have seen so many tricks from you guys. It's interesting. Like, I know my bag. Like, I know your bag. Like, I know what everyone's kind of comfortable with. So I definitely, like, for sure, when I say do this trick, like, I'm not going to, like, would I ever tell you to go, like, kickflip the barrel drop? Like, hell no. It's just, like, unreal.
He would.
I mean, if there were a trampoline at the bottom, maybe. But, like,
Yeah, he knows what's in our wheelhouse enough. Yeah. And I think, and then also I'll spin this viewpoint on it, too. In the commenters' defense, they also know dropping in is in your wheelhouse. And they
is true.
And they want to push you enough so that you do it.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like, the position I'm in. I'm literally like this encyclopedia of skateboard knowledge. Like, I've just met so many people and been around so many just incredible tricks. I feel like I know the process of every single trick.
Yeah, and you probably do, and you probably could coach it. You could probably be a literal Olympics coach.
I know. I'm watching JD in the vert ramp. I'm like, dude, it's like possible. No, I'm just kidding.
It is. Well, Nigel doesn't skate vert. He can do tricks in transition, but he
front feeble.
He can, but like he's not JD.
Yeah.
Like if Nigel and JD play a game of skate, it's not even a question.
Yeah.
But he is coaching a girl right now on her vert, and she's number 2 in the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it just goes to show that like you literally could coach it. You could be like, well, you need to move your foot like this and lean further back.
Yeah.
You've seen so much.
Yeah. It's very,
which is why you can drop it on the vert ramp.
Yeah. It's inspirational to see all the people that I've seen over the years, which kind of like is another thing that goes into the back of your head. Like, dang, like Jason Park's clowning me for not dropping right now. Like, how many people am I letting down?
Well, there's an added pressure. Yeah. And I think that added pressure between the social pressure and the mental pressure, it's so much. Yeah. And that weighs on people.
Especially now. Back then, there were like mean comments, but I think the era of social media and negativity has evolved in a very bad way. I think from then to now, like, oh my gosh.
I know, it's so funny.
Post-COVID social media is just, oh man, it's hard to be on sometimes.
Well, here we are trying to push the positivity of skateboarding and make this non-toxic environment.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I just want to be like, that's it. I'm just pushing back. Like, this is war. If you guys want to go to war, we will go to war. And I'm like, don't tempt me. I get excited about stuff like that. But I think it's cool to just like say like, okay, it's actually not cool that you make fun of somebody because they're a beginner.
Yeah.
So why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Does it make you feel better? Mm-hmm. Does it make you feel like you're more of a skater because of that?
Yeah.
Who cares? Mm-hmm. You don't need to call that kid a poser because he can't do a kickflip.
Yeah.
But there's enough kids out there that can't do a kickflip, then we're going to start a revolution.
Yeah. If homie at the skate park does kickflip back lip but doesn't help out like a kid that's just learning how to skate, like you don't deserve that bag of tricks.
Yeah, and even if you can do that trick, does that make you like socially better or superior to that person? No. It doesn't.
No.
It means that you worked really, really, really hard. You put in the 10,000 hours plus to work on your skateboarding, which is sick and totally valuable. Mm-hmm. But you also got to remember what you was like when your first day.
Yeah. If someone was gatekeeping that person at that particular time and era of their life, are they ever unlocking those tricks today? Probably not.
Right. And then the gatekeeping, like, because they were gate kept, they feel that now they need to gatekeep others. But there's a certain point in time where this cycle needs to break.
Yes.
Viva la revolution.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to drop it on the vert ramp or not?
I will. I will.
He's very careful about that answer.
Before we get out of here,
Yeah.
I want to talk about one more very controversial thing.
Yeah, hit it.
Varial flips.
Oh,
we touched on it
man.
a little more earlier. We can't end my episode
without a shout out to the varial flip.
Keep varial flips alive and some of the controversy about varial versus tray.
Yeah.
I want to get into it. I want to share my opinions.
Okay, good. Before we even go there, I do want to say it doesn't matter if you drop in on vert. It actually quite literally doesn't matter.
I convinced myself that a long time ago.
You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It will be really cool if you do it,
yeah,
because that means that you've pushed through that barrier.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of like us pushing through that barrier gives that kid out there hope that he can push through whatever barrier, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's also like an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
keep it down to earth.
Kind of like the lying to myself and saying I don't care. It's just kind of like my way of coping with not doing it.
Yeah.
But once I do it, I've told you to your face, like, whatever, if I drop in the vert ramp, it's whatever, it's a drop in. I'm just going to be mad about it. I mean, that's a lie. I mean, I'll be hyped. I mean,
100%.
There's no shame. It's an 11-foot 3-inch vert ramp with two or a foot and a half of straight vertical drop. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
and everybody who drops in is really stoked.
Very stoked. I know the energy in the building will be extremely hyped up.
Yes.
Like, I know the comments are going to be super supportive and glad I did it. And I just like you said, like, it's cool to inspire people. And I know so many people when I do like a Braille Army video, you kind of get mixed up in all the drop in on vert and all the like the hateful comments sometimes.
Yeah.
But then when you do drop a video, for example, like my tray double flip will go up in a few days. Like I'm sure a lot of people will be really stoked on it.
100%. Far more people than will not be stoked on it.
Yeah. And that to me is like very meaningful when, I go through those comments and people are like, dang, Gabe's got some tricks. I'm like, I do got some tricks, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
I know you said I don't have to, but mentally, I know I have to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you feel that you have to, then you just do the correct preparation steps in order to build yourself up. I mean, no matter how long that takes.
The real thing to do would to end this video or this podcast and just go do it, but I'm hungry.
Yeah, definitely not. No, not when you're hungry or you're tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so varial flips versus tray flips.
Yeah.
What's a controversy?
The controversy is people hate varial flips. And it hurts my soul.
Who are these people?
I don't know. Just the majority of people.
No, there's no majority of people that hate.
You don't think so?
No, 100%.
I think this is way bigger than we think.
You think so?
I think so.
You think there's a society of varial flip haters?
No, not a society.
A group somewhere.
But I definitely, I don't even know if it's like an intense belief.
Yeah.
I just know in the back of people's heads, they see a varial flip and they're like,
They're like, what's going on with this guy? He can't tray. He doesn't got trays.
Yeah, I think varial flips are really cool. And maybe that's just because of the first trick I learned.
He's like, okay, we can't end my episode without the controversy of varial flips. What's the controversy? I think they're really cool. And other people don't.
No, you're just crushing my argument right now.
What's your argument? No, I'm just waiting for it. I'm not even crushing anything.
Well, I mean, typically I have someone that debates it with me, and you're just saying there is no argument. So I'm kind of lost for words. I might need to FaceTime Rick real quick.
No, I'm just... Well, some of these things, I love that we went from the vert ramp into this and even the hate comments. Mm-hmm. But there was this video we made where we went to Fremont and it was the worst board at the park. And we gave the kid a board and he did a 50-50 down the hubba, the big hubba, down the 7. And it was sick. Yeah. He killed it. We gave him the board. And he didn't say thank you in the video. He did say thank you to me, but it didn't get recorded. It wasn't in the video.
Got it.
And then some comments were saying, this kid's rude, and he didn't say thank you, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And his mom emailed in and said, please take the video down.
Dang, yeah.
And this video is ruining my son's skateboard career. And I'm like, okay. your son did a good trick in a video that got 1.1 million views.
Yeah.
And you think this is ruining his skateboard career. And I told her, go to that video and count the number of comments that are positive and count the number of comments that are negative. And she did. And then she wrote me back and said, oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
Almost every comment was positive and so few of them were negative. I don't know what it is about the negative comment, but you can read 100 positive comments and they're all
one negative
and you just read that one.
Yeah, it gets you.
And you have to remind yourself that's just one of there's 1,000 other people that feel that you're so cool, they love you, they're following you, you're inspiring to them.
Yeah.
Why let that one have rent-free real estate in your head?
You shouldn't.
So then when people say things like, oh, like everybody hates varial flips, I go, who's everybody? And that almost just ends you know what I mean? Actually.
You're right.
But we could name some people. Rick thinks that varial flips are less cool than tray flips.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just trying to fuel my campaign.
Oh yeah, that's fine too. Okay, light the fire.
No, I'm
there are within skateboarding, this is super interesting thing. Yeah. Within skateboarding, there are certain tricks that are deemed not cool to do.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole word made up for this. They're called illegal tricks.
Is that really?
Yes.
I've never heard that.
There's no way you've never heard that. I
swear I've never heard that.
Really?
No. But I feel like varial flip is for sure in there. Like varial flip and pressure flip got to be top 1 and top 2.
Yes. Well, the thing about skateboarding is it's sort of an art form. It's a very subjective thing.
Yeah.
And then we can get into the debate of is it a sport? Is it an art form? Is it a lifestyle? Ricky and I got into this pretty heavily.
Yeah.
But it's Ricky and I have the same viewpoint. We think it's like an art, like a thing that you do. And so it is subjective.
Yes.
Some people like Picasso, some people like Monet, you know? So some people like varial flips, some people like tray flips.
Yeah.
And when I was interviewing Carl Watson, he's from the old school.
Yeah.
He's from like early days EMB downtown San Francisco. Yeah. And he was like, there are certain tricks that you just don't do. And I was like, that is so funny. Yeah. What tricks are you not allowed to do? You guess what he said? You won't guess it, but guess.
Oh, gosh. I don't even know. That's far before my time.
Way, way before. I've brought it up to you.
Benihana?
It was the Benihana! How did you get that? He said, you don't do a Benihana. And I was, bro, everybody's hating.
Because I feel like Benihana's still red flag today.
It is, but Benihana's sick. Like, what is wrong with the Benihana?
That's how I feel about varial flips. Dude, now you get how I feel.
I know.
But shout out Carl, though. Actually, on my 16th birthday, I went to 510 Skate Shop. I picked up a Carl Watson Organica board. It was one of my favorite boards I've ever skated.
Yeah, pure legend.
806. It was the only time I ever skated that size because it was his pro model.
So good. Carl is so good, so sick. And I just find it interesting to even talk to somebody who is like so that deep in the industry. They literally wouldn't bring him to the spot. He wasn't allowed to be seen until he could ollie and power slide.
Wow.
And I thought he was like, yeah, power slide was a big deal. And I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And here we are in this 2023 where everybody sees everything on social media. And we're trying to create this culture around skateboarding where who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if you push Mongo even?
Yeah.
Oh, does it not look as good as normal? Of course it looks not good as normal. But you know who learned to skate by pushing Mongo? Chris Cole. If we would have just crushed Chris Cole's life as a little kid, we wouldn't have Chris Cole.
Yeah.
So who cares if somebody pushes Mongo? You can tell them, hey, what I tell kids is like, when you drop in on a spot where there's low run-up space, pushing Mongo isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So learn to push the other way. It's more correct.
Yeah.
But if you push Mongo, skate. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean not to skate.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's this subjective thing where I think a lot of it depends on how you do the trick. Because I can show you a varial flip that Jason Park just posted that is sick.
I'm very glad you transitioned there because I was gonna say, I feel like a majority of people that don't like varial flips, it's because they can't do them well. And I feel like
Shots fired.
no, I mean, who am I to say anything? But that's just me.
You're Gabe Cruz,
that's
and
me-
you have your own opinion,
That's
and
just
that's
me
cool.
having fun. But I feel like I got a pretty good varial flip.
You have an incredible varial flip.
So I feel like I'm fit to run this campaign.
Yeah, 100%. The other day on Braille Army Plus, I had one of the members reach out to me and say, I want to learn a backside flip.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, great, blah, 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 help him with the foot position, how to practice it, what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Braille Army Plus. If anybody's learning how to skateboard, you should get it. BrailleSkateboarding.com/army. And the person on there said, you know who has a really good backside flip is Gabe. And I said, you know why he has a really good backside flip? Because his varial flips are good.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, you learned varial flip, kick flip, backside flip.
Yeah.
Think about the rotation of a varial flip is a backside flip.
Yeah.
So you're doing a varial flip with a backside 180 body varial. But that rotation is so natural to you.
Yeah, it's always been.
It's easy.
The front side flip, hard flip, that's always been the unnatural way for me.
Hard.
Much more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this person's similar boat, but this person can't varial flip. Like he can, but not like just rifling them off.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I thought it was so cool that he was like, dang, who's got the best backside flip? Gabe Cruz.
Yeah, shout out. Hey, who was that?
Stuff and Things.
Stuff and Things.
Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah, so epic. So there you go. So subjective reality of what trick looks the best.
Yeah.
I mean, some people could do the coolest trick and make it look bad.
Yeah.
And some of the tricks that are really, really, really hard. Here's the other part of the argument. Carl Watson and I got into this too. He said, this contest skating, it's too much. And the second he said that, I already knew what trick he was talking about. He's talking about, and I literally said in the episode, I'm like, tray flip, nose blunt, nollie flip out. And he was like, yeah. He's like, how did you know that was the trick? I was like, because it is too much.
Yeah.
Like, who can tray flip nose blunt, let alone flip out?
Yeah.
But it gets into this world where it's like, just add another trick. Just make it a little harder, make it a little crazier.
Yeah.
But like the way it was back in the day was about the style in which you did the trick.
Yeah.
And now I think it's a little bit less about the style.
More about difficulty and technicality for sure.
Yeah. And you're going to win the Olympics. We'll do a tray flip, nose blunt, nollie flip out in your run.
Yeah.
It's the hardest trick anybody could think to do.
Yeah.
Or Shane O'Neill, switch, tray flip, nose blunt, half cab flip.
See, we didn't even get into the Olympics in this episode.
No, we didn't, which is fine. But I think varial flip's the same. Like, if you could do a varial flip and make it look sick, you're sick.
Yeah. Keep varial flips alive.
Yeah. Shout out to the campaign.
I'll never let them go out.
Yeah, never let them go out. Gabe Cruz's Instagram is a varial flip on a weird board, a varial flip on a normal board, a varial flip on a weird board. Get a glass broken skateboard in there, and then do some more varial
And
flips.
like a random picture of my dog.
Yeah.
and me
And you throw in the lifestyle shots.
Yeah. You gotta keep it. You gotta mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So for the people listening, what's the future of Gabe Cruz? What's the future of the Gabe Cruz look like?
Man, the future of Gabe Cruz, that is a tough question. Well, hopefully I will drop in on vert. In terms of like skateboarding goals, I think that's like the apex right there. Like that's what I need to achieve to finally say like, yeah, like this is good. But I want to keep progressing. I want to get on my board. When you do something like this, that when a hobby turns into a job, it can get a little fuzzy sometimes.
Yeah, that's something we should talk about.
Yeah, it's
Man,
a whole.
we need another hour for that though.
Yeah, we might have to do like podcast part 2.
Yeah, we do
later on, but just to like be very quick on it.
Yeah.
When a hobby turns into a job, it can get kind of fuzzy.
Yes.
In between the edges sometimes. So as I don't skate as much anymore, but I think the important thing to me is that I'm not forcing myself or pushing it too much.
You got to find the love that you have.
Exactly. So when I want to skate, I do.
Yeah.
And when I get inspired to learn a trick or do something new, I will always do it. Like tray double flip the other week, I literally was like, I want to do this. I'm
Easy
gonna go and do it. And it was like literally maybe not having skated for 2 weeks, just go bust out a tray double flip in like 45 minutes to an hour. Like I'm pretty proud of that.
It's very incredible.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
And it makes me just wonder what you could do if every day you even just did the Skateboarding Made Simple Volume 1. Just force yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like you would progress so incredibly fast.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
But yeah, man, I'm just taking life slowly, obviously trying to do my best by you and do a good job with what I do here at Braille and be good to me, my family, and be good to my girlfriend, be good to my dog. And ultimately just, I think like the big thing that has kind of like dawned on me since like COVID and all that is just like as you get older, like what mark are you leaving?
Yes, right? That's a big one.
It's a huge thing and not like when I was younger, it just wasn't something I was fully thinking with.
Yeah.
So I think now that I'm kind of getting older, like obviously I'm only 25. I don't by any means have anything in my life fully figured out, and I'm probably just as clueless as most of the people watching this video are, and that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just what mark am I leaving, and what impact do I have on the people that do watch our videos, and just on if in the future when I get married and have kids, and making sure that I bring my kid into a fantastic world with a beautiful family and supportive upbringing and all that kind of stuff is it's all very important.
So you want to have a kid?
Yeah, I want to have 2.
Oh wow, this is intense. Okay, so get married, have 2 kids, positive family upbringing, the whole 9 yards.
I want to own a house.
Yes.
Hopefully before the marriage and kids, but obviously it's a partnership. So whatever me and my lady compromise on is what we'll make work.
Yes.
But it's like I've been with Jules for 5 years, coming up in October.
Yeah.
And that time has flown by extremely fast.
Yeah.
I was 20 when I started dating with her. Now I'm 25.
Yeah.
So, you kind of look at these things as a younger gentleman and you're like, we got time, but now you're 25 and the time it's going faster every day.
Yes.
So, conversations that you just kind of have and are just, tossing around are now very serious. So
yeah, now it starts to get a little more real, a little more like, dang, what are we actually going to do?
Yeah. So when Aaron's like, when you get married, I'm like, I mean, theoretically, I think in like 2 years, right? Like, it's like,
I was like, bro, she already stuck it out for 5 years.
I know.
You're going to put this poor girl through 7 years before you put a ring on it? You're lucky she don't slap you.
You're right. She's a real one.
But also, I think the thing that's important about that is when you make a big goal like that and you're working towards it, like for anybody listening to this, I don't care if you're 15 or 18 or whatever, figure out what mark you do want to make.
Yeah.
And just push towards that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what's interesting about you saying that is you probably also even underestimate the mark you've made.
I think so.
And I think this is something that I brought up even to everybody that's ever been at Braille, current Braille skateboarder, past Braille skateboarder.
Yeah.
You guys maybe you don't totally recognize the positive effect that you have created in the world.
Yeah.
And the position that you're in to create a huge, even bigger effect in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I love to be able to do is put these like opportunities.
Yeah.
I would say, well, there's a lot of opportunity here, whether that is sitting right in your face right this second.
Yeah.
But you have to think really long term. You're only 25.
Yeah.
What I wouldn't give to be 25.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn 40. But where could you be with this in 15 years from now? That's when you're 40. 15 years could be a lot. If you like go,
a lot happens in 15
a
years.
lot happens.
I mean, I haven't even been here 10 years.
Yeah. So it'd be longer.
Yeah. By 5 years on top of what's already happened in this time frame.
And look how far we've come in that time.
It's improbable to think about, but
it's important to think about and set huge, massive goals.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing and go just, man, yeah, how do we create that mark? And also to just go like the actual impact that you've made in people's lives has been huge.
Yeah.
beyond enormous, probably unfathomable of what you can even like think about.
Yeah.
Because of the positivity that you've brought them.
It's interesting in like the position we're in, because it's almost like it's a hard thing to quantify, as we've said many times, but then when you do, it's almost like a disservice to try to quantify it.
Yes.
So you kind of just sit in this like meta zone where you just kind of do, you just do your thing, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just, like I said, you try to make the best of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta give it out to my parents for raising me how they did.
Yeah.
The way that they raised me, it was just, as soon as I was born, everything was just thrown out, and it was just, I was the most important things in their life.
Yes.
Or thing in their life.
Yes.
And if I can even, if I could surpass what they did for me, for my child, like, even if I don't own a house, like, I will, anything I can do to make it a good life for my kid and for my family, I think is the number one goal that I think, I strive for, at least, and along the way doing the things that, make that possible. Yeah,
and push it forward to the future generation.
Yeah.
And you can definitely own a house. That's like the thing that I think is like, you 100%, 1000%. I will sit down with you and mathematically work out.
I might have to move to Texas.
No, you do not. No, you don't.
No, yeah. It's all there, though. It's
100%.
Great things are going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Well, okay, that's very fascinating. I love to see this future come to fruition. And thank you for being a guest on the podcast. Man. Shout out Gabriel Horacio Iglesias Cruz. If you guys have any ideas for a topic we should talk about, anything you want us to go over, any ideas for future podcasts, or maybe even guests that you want to see, let us know. I think, who knows where this is going to go.
Yeah. Well, I told Glow today, if I do it today, you have to do it. Yeah. So I'm going to try to get him on Saturday.
People are so scared of it. I don't understand why. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
I see this future where all four of us are like me, you, Glow, Uzi. We can throw Nigel in there. We kind of mix and match, and we just pick a topic and we just, I don't know, roast it. I don't know, go back and forth.
Did you do one with Nigel yet?
No.
Oh, you got to get him.
I know. I tried to. Tried to get him on yesterday. Every time I try to get him on, he has a lesson or something going. Yeah. He's a busy man right now. He's about to get married, so he's working hard. He's working every job he can get his hands on. Yeah. Shout out Nigel for working hard. But yeah, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for everything that you do. Again, I think that it's such a huge impact that it's almost so weighty that it's hard to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's not for me, it's for all the people that out there that see it and go, you guys got me through the hardest time in my life.
Yeah. I thank you. That's all I can really say. You, like I said, you've seen me grow up, and it's very real in an awesome way to have you see me grow up in these last 10 years to now talk to me about my future and having a family and buying a house and all this stuff. And the impact I've made just in these last 10 years on our audience and skateboarders around the world. And I think all of that, when you kind of lay it out in a format like this, it's kind of heavy.
Yeah.
But it's like powerful in like a really, really good way. But I can't explain enough the impact that you've had on my life personally, and the gratitude I have for you as a friend. And
yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my pushing it forward.
Yeah.
So we'll keep this rolling. I don't know where you're watching or listening to or whatever this podcast, but I think there's maybe a subscribe button,
somewhere.
Maybe a like button
somewhere.
Maybe you push the RSS feed. I have no idea, but we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much.
See ya.